to cover a multitude of topics. I do want to do some kind of like mind framework where we're getting all, I want to present the mind frame that I think we're going to need to get this going. We're going to provide some resources. We got some special guests speaking, just to let you know what's in the city, what's happening, make us more aware, and then finally we'll have like an open discussion, taking the mindset that we are, wanting to hopefully adopt and all the resources and say, how do we put this together? How do we leave this meeting having something to do, right? So I do want to start, before we do anything, this is pretty serious because I don't know what's happening. But for those of you who know, Philly music specifically, like not even just the city of Philly randomly, like our music scene, I don't want to say it's under attack, but we're losing so many of our friends left and right. Like by the time this meeting was organized, till now, we already lost people, right? It's one of the things that we're gonna have to also talk about, our health, our well-being, all those things. But, if you're here now, just take a moment and to be grateful that you're here. There's people that I know for sure would have been like, Dan, I'm there. Manny, he would have been like, I'm there. Aurelius, he would have been like, Dan, I'm there. Chris Odom, Azel, there's other people that's just like recent. And we got people in the last year, 2 years, not even like the pandemic, just dropping, right? So I feel like before we move towards any progress, we should just honor the people who would have been part of this fight and didn't get a chance to be here. If we just give them a moment of silence and honor them in their absence and take the energy that they would have. We got to pick up that slack for them. We got to do the work that we're going to do, but the work they would have also contributed. So just take a moment. And if you don't know the people who may have passed, just know that they were very, very active members of the scene, members of the community. They affected a lot of people here. And if it's not your friend, not your person, not your people, it can be. So let's just appreciate this present moment and being here. All right, so thank you for that. We love you, Chris. We love you, Isel. We love you. We love you, Kavan. We love you, Aurelius. We love you, Manny. We love all y'all. We love the people that are here, and we're going to show it every single day until we're not. So, let's get started. So, I guess I'll start at this moment. How many people saw the original post? All right, cool. How many people noticed the time comment? Okay, yeah, if you saw the post, you saw that we mentioned time. I gotta say this, if you came with a pickaxe, if you came with a picket sign, if you came with your torches, we are not going to war today. There are far better things to build and actually do than to destroy something. But how human psychology works, sometimes you have to ruffle some feathers to grab people's attention. Y'all saw how much people shared that post. Y'all saw the conversation. Y'all see who's here now. Y'all see how many people we got on the Zoom. All right, so people who are mad, I'm sure you're not here, so let me say it to you. Sorry, but it's necessary collateral, okay? And I'm not apologizing for time at all, for sure. But I'm just saying, if you got your panties in a bunch, it had to be done. Because we're here now. So, I want to start off with just some mindset stuff. I want to see if I can shift some minds for some people, reinvigorate for others, just confirm if you're already there. Everybody say create.
Create.
Yeah, say it one more time, create.
Create.
Okay. When we fully understand the power we have as creators. And I'm not talking about the new fashionable way to say it as like some extended type of influencer, some content. I mean creation, right? We are creators. It's going to be deeper than a lot of you might understand right now, but some people who get it, if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about, and I'll explain. I have been thinking this way for a while, and I just saw The Matrix 2 weeks ago for the first time. Please, I know. But it was great. It was great because, all right, yeah, go ahead. No, it was great because the mindset that I had been walking with and carrying with to see, a bit of that iteration on film. There was a moment where Neo was in The Matrix, right? Talking about the first one, and the bulls in the suits, the bad guys, right? They was coming, and they was like, crap, like they coming. And so what did they do? He called the operator and was like, yeah, we're gonna need some guns. He said, all right, cool, boom, right? Just think of that little thing right there, right? I'm breaking it down in an analogy that we can understand. Neo had a situation. His current circumstance did not have what he needed. So what did he do? He called, right? And he created a new circumstance for himself, right? So when we go and move, everything you see in Philly, all the no's we've heard in Philly, all the times that people have closed doors and said, we can't do this, I'm not even thinking of like what we're gonna do in the constructs of what this reality is, right? I'm on something else. You can call me crazy, you can call it spiritual, but I know that what I need, I can command and bring into this earth, right? And I'll break it down practically too. We don't gotta be spiritual, but we have the power. Everything I've done in my career, I've created. It has been created. Everything you see and touch has been created. Every system, every low wage, every venue that you've been to, every concert, it was created. So if your circumstances were created by something, by someone, why can't you create another circumstance? Outside of that, inside of that, right? Everybody else doesn't have the power to create and create your life and your circumstance, but you don't, right? So one thing I want to say is, and take this however, but if you are not a creator, you're a prisoner. If you're not a creator, you're a prisoner. Prisoner of your circumstance, prisoner of your emotions, prisoner of your finances, because all you can do is just succumb to what life says. You know, it says, this is the hand I was dealt, right? Well, I need new cards. And that's what I'm trying to install into us as a group mindset to say, hey, there's not a situation I can't escape from as long as I have the ability to create. Back to Neo. As long as he was in the Matrix, he was cool. He needed an exit, boom, I just created an exit right here. Go downstairs, he said, the operator, he said, turn left on Brown Street. We gotta think like that. We have to. Because everybody thinking with this earthly mindset of A to B, we missing so much, right? We have to understand our power and really understand what we together can do. So now that I've kind of explained that, that's the mindset that I want to, for all of us, when you come up to talk, when you say something on the Zoom, I want us to be able to talk with that mind frame. So some people have been thinking, and say, I got a lot of opinions on it. All right, but if your opinions are in the framework of, non-creation, I'm not saying don't say it, but we just, we don't have all the time. There's gonna be so many people. So let's just get to the point, right? Let's get to like what we're gonna do, okay? I'm not here to bicker about what you arts kids are doing. I'm not here to bicker about what this person, because we're here focusing on the bigger picture. Everything, but everybody who's not here, who's not doing the things that we're hoping can do, doesn't matter, because we got 200 people in here right now that can activate change right now. Today's one day, tomorrow can be completely different because of us So why are we talking about anything else right now? We'll get to that. But we got a lot of work to do. It's not every day you can get 200 musicians here. This wasn't easy. I appreciate y'all being here. So I want to make sure we use the best of our time. It's NFL football happening right now. Y'all know me, I love football. Okay? So, moving on. I want to try something. This is still kind of working on the mindset and just some bit of orientation, but I want everybody to think about things that may be wrong with the Philly music scene. Just think about it right now for a couple seconds. Yeah, you don't need that much time because it's very easy. But when I say go, I want you all to just tell me. Like, I want to hear you. Tell me. When I say go, tell me what's wrong. 1, 2, 3.
Money.
All right, cool.
Money.
Yeah, thank you, Zoom. Money.
Money.
All right, we agree. All right, but what just happened? Yep, y'all lagging. We hear y'all though. It's just, y'all messages coming in like 3 seconds. All right. Anybody else on Zoom got something else to say? Put it in the chat. So, what just happened there, right? Everyone said something towards the same topic, the same goal, but I didn't understand anything that was said. Why? Because everybody said it at once. Let's mute on Zoom again. Everybody said it all at once. This is what's happening in Philly, right? We have this organization, we got this department, we got this council, we got that, right? And it's like everybody's trying to do the same thing, but we're not together, right? We're not saying the same thing, right? Now, when I say go, right, like the person on Zoom said, we're gonna say more money on 3. 1, 2, 3. I can understand that clearly, because we are together. So this meeting is going to make sure that we're trying to serve everybody's interests. We're trying to serve the general interest, but guess what? This meeting, we have to do this together. We have to do this together. We don't just have us here. We got people from different venues here. We got people from the union here. We got people from OACCE here. We got PMA representing. We have the Recording Academy. We have a bunch of Philly entities finally here in the same room, virtual room, and we're all taking this moment to say, hey, your thing is your thing, our thing, but this is our thing, right? So this is the unity that we really need to start before we do anything. So we got the mindset of creation, and we have this understanding that if we're one voice in solidarity, we can do things. So I do want to offer, I want to take this moment just to have some people speak. Who do we have? So Jared, I know you're here. I can't see everybody's screen, but did anybody in particular from the union want to say something? Who else do we have? I can't see names right here.
Sure, Dan. With
Oh, is that
the
Laura?
Ellen Trainer, we have our Ideas Council Chair, Laura Munich, here too as well.
Okay, so Laura, and who was the person before?
The president of the union, Ellen Trainer.
Oh, hey, Ellen. Oh, I see her. Yeah, right there. All right, cool. So I'll give you guys the floor. We're happy to have the local 77 union here representing, and yeah, you guys have the next 5 to 10 minutes to kind of give your piece, share your thoughts, and we'll keep going.
Sure. I know there's a few people here that I actually have a pretty close personal relationship with. And for those who I don't, my name is Jared Antonacci. I'm the Secretary Treasurer of the Musicians Union here in Philadelphia. But I'm a trombone player and lived here almost 20 years now. Well, for starters, I'd like to just thank Dan for his absolute amazing ability to organize such an important event and to be able to get so many people, both physically in the same room and also on Zoom, to talk about something that I personally think is really important. I just want to talk a little bit I know I've got 10 minutes here, so I just want to, for starters, I want to apologize for my hoarseness in the voice. I've had COVID for the last 4 or 5 days now, and I just sort of work my way through it. So forgive me for sounding I should be sleeping. But in any case, we're very excited to talk to you guys about having, one of the things that a lot of folks in this town have really not known over the last few years is that the musicians in this town have a union. And the musicians union had recently come into new leadership 2018. And that's really important for folks, especially everybody on this call and on this meeting, to understand is that prior to 2019, the musicians union was not really something that anybody, myself included, really thought was anything that was influential or anything that was really something that anyone needed to be really concerned with. And in 2019, we came into office. We had, myself and a team of ours, had basically realized that situation in this town was need of repair, that there was a musicians union, and that the musicians union should be run from the ground up and not the top down. And the short of it is, in 2019, everything from the president to the executive board had been replaced with the mandate that the concern was going to gear toward the freelance players in this town. And dispelling the sort of notion that the musicians union was only for classical players. And is in fact not just for classical players, it's for everybody. And it's really important that we all understand the power that we have when we move together. And prior to the pandemic, and prior to us getting into office, I had played a great deal in a lot of these sort of wedding band agencies in and around this area. I had really become close friends with people that owned these agencies and folk that had worked in these agencies and had led a campaign prior to the COVID-19 pandemic. Had led a campaign to basically organize the wedding band industry in this town. And I can tell you, prior to the pandemic, we had upwards of 75 or 80 folks who had signed union authorization cards because they wanted the control over their work environment. And then the pandemic hit, and like many things, it sort of put a hindrance on the campaign. Because when you don't have any links, you don't have any, letters against the boss. And because of that campaign kind of ended up dying. But in the same spirit of that campaign, I see the spark in this campaign. And that is to say that there's a group of folks that are influential, that are the grassroots in this town, that are the musicians that make our community what it is. And the fact that we're all in the same place at the same time means that we all have the power to decide what we want for ourselves. And I just want everybody to know that the concept of a union is often misguided. The concept of a union is often a third-party entity that everybody looks at. And the union. What is a union going to do to save or help my particular situation? And I think that one of the things we've been trying to dispel over the last 4 or 5 years is that the union is not a set of officers and an executive board. The union is a group of folk who choose to do together the same direction, the same thing. And that all believe that they need to move together and stand together to effect change. And that's what we're here to help everybody do. So, I just wanted to kind of let everybody know that the musicians union is here to offer guidance, insight, and direction into helping you achieve what you want to do. It's not a function of a business that's here for, you know, folks to pay dues to. And it's rather an organization where we would like to take the information that we know and that you know and to use it to empower everybody that wants to take control over their work environment. That's pretty much the best that I can say at this moment. I wish I could, you know, I can go off for another half an hour over the power of organizing and collective action. But I just want to let everyone know that we are all here to offer as much information, guidance, and support as we can, and that you all are a union. And if you choose to move together and act together, that's the first step, and that's the most powerful step along the way to making true change in your environment. I'm not sure if Ellen wants to do anything or if Lauren wants to, but that's the sort of gist of what the musicians union is here to do and here to support, and that is to help all of the freelance folks in any way that we can to empower and take control over their environment.
Thanks, Jared. I'll be short and brief. Hello, everyone. I'm Ellen Trainer. I'm the president of the Musicians Union. I want to let you know that I'm a freelance musician, and I grew up in Delaware County, born and raised in the area. I went to Temple University for my undergrad and master's degree, and as Jared said, at a very early age, I joined the union, because my teacher told me that's what you needed to do in order to get a job. And you know what, back then, I won't tell you how old I am, I think the hat kind of hides how old I am, but back then, that's the way it was. You know, it was very top down. If you wanted a gig, you had to join the union, and that was your way to becoming a professional. But I've been a long-time union member because of those rules and regulations. And as Jared said, in 2019, it was time for a change. It was, you know, it was too long, stagnant for too long. I couldn't take it any longer. And we found a group of musicians who felt the same way. And one day I was complaining at the water cooler, like we all do. And somebody said, well, why don't you run for president? And a light bulb went off in my head, and I said, you know what, I am sick and tired of complaining. I think I'm going to. And so we got together, and we all ran as a slate, and we won. 2-1, we won. Because the members of Local 77 wanted to see a change too. They were tired of the same old situation. And as Jared said, COVID happened. You know, we got into office and COVID happened, and you know, maybe it was a curse, maybe it was a blessing, but there were a lot of things that happened during COVID, a lot of conversations that were had during COVID, a lot of other unions that needed support, and we were able to stand with other unions to try to effectuate change in politics and making sure that people who were paid on 1099s were able to qualify for some sort of unemployment. We were able to raise awareness that musicians were misclassified and that they were being paid on 1099s and they should be paid on W-2. And you know, it just kind of steamrolled from there, and we made a lot of good relationships with other unions like IATSE, the stagehand union, the ushers union. We became members of the AFL-CIO, which governs all unions in the city of Philadelphia. So, you know, I want to just say I'm humbled, I'm honored, I'm excited about the possibilities of this meeting, and, you know, we want to listen, we want to hear you, we want to hear your complaints. I'm sure, you know, we've heard a lot of these complaints, but I want to also let you know that the creative economy in the state of Pennsylvania is third in GDP, and what that means is the creative economy is just behind construction, and retail, and then it's the creatives. So people are making money off of our backs. Yes, they are. And it's your backs. And the only way that we can really effectuate change is exactly what Dan said in the beginning, and it made me really, the hair stand up on my arms. When he got us all to say the same words together. When we stand together, when we move together, that's when change actually happens. So thank you so much for allowing us to be here with you. I look forward to the conversations, and I hope that the next meeting we can be there in person. So thank you very much.
And I was going to say thank you to Dan and for inviting us for this opportunity, and thank Ellen and Jared for sharing your story of the new leadership in Local 77. I will just briefly say that I came to my involvement in Local 77 on a little bit of a different path. I've worked with many people on this call, and likely if I could see you also in that hall as a former wedding band leader and for one of the major entertainment companies in the city, and the founder and producer of a longtime jazz festival, the Mainline Jazz and Food Festival. And when I made an effort to join the union when I became a wedding band leader, I was told I could not join. And I came to that decision because I'm a second generation Philadelphia musician. My father and mother actually met at Temple at Boyer College of Music, and my dad was a recently retired musician. And I knew that that is what you did because I was able to have a childhood, and we had a really nice middle-class life with my father being a full-time freelance musician. That's pretty hard to do now. And the reason he was able to do that was because of the rights and protections that he was afforded through the union of that time. That was a different generation, but as anybody who's following the news and looking at Starbucks and Walmart and small coffee houses and businesses of every size in between, you're recognizing that now this is a new time and a new era of a new type of unionism. And as Jared suggested, the union isn't something separate and apart from us. We are the union. And I think the thing that inspired me was a new era in the beginning of the lockdown and all of the social justice uprising. There is sort of a synergy there when we think about what are the rights that we deserve, the rights that we want as we think about how we want to go about our working life as artists and musicians. And I apologize for my dog who's aggravated that I'm not paying attention, if you could hear him barking there. But I think a couple of the watchwords are workers' rights are human rights, period. Human rights are workers' rights. And we deserve safety, we deserve a living wage, we deserve health care, and we deserve a dignified retirement. And those are things that as individuals, it's pretty hard to cobble together if you're a freelancer. But if you have the power and the solidarity of collective bargaining and that univocal force that Dan so beautifully demonstrated when he had us all speak that mantra together, that is a perfect illustration of what we hope to work together with you to provide to every musician on every type of gig, not just those who play in the Philadelphia Orchestra or in the pit at the Walnut Street Theater. Every musician used to have that 2 generations ago. And every generation, and this generation, can begin to construct a new version of that, particularly in a town with the musical legacy of Philadelphia. So, and I just want to give a little bit of a mention to the idea that we can't be a collective if everyone doesn't see him, her, or themselves reflected in that body, in that organization. That's why I'm proud to represent the Ideas Council that stands for inclusion, diversity, equity, access, and solidarity. And we welcome any inquiry, every participation from every genre, every identity affiliation, because we are better the more we are together. And so if you have questions about any of the technical, logistical, structural components, or these more philosophical things, please reach out to us. You can contact us on the website. I regret a little bit that I would have liked this to maybe be flipped so that we could listen rather than coming in and sort of making a presentation that's a little less organic than I would have liked, but I'm grateful for the opportunity, and I really do hope you'll seek us out. You'll bring us your questions and your curiosity, because this is a new era of unionism in our country, and it's a new era for Local 77 and the American Federation of Musicians in Philadelphia, and we are and you are the union. So please join us. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Ellen, Laura, and Jared. That was great. A lot of information. So to sum it up, right? We have a union who has lots of resources connected to lots of entities in city government, has their own fund to help you sponsor your gigs, has benefits for actually helping you with retirement, setting up your payment as employees rather than 1099, helps you on your taxes. There's a lot more, just to kind of summarize all that. There's a lot that they offer, and I'm happy to be working with them in the future to keep us connected, Like I said, it's not, whether you're a union person or not, it doesn't mean we don't have the same cause, right? I think it would work against, it would be a little bit ironic if the union only wanted to help union members, right? No, nobody's forcing you to join, but the goal here is Philly music, right? So that's why the union comes here to represent. If that's for you, sure, but everybody's here for the same goal. So definitely check that out. Their website's free and accessible. You can check more out and reach out to Ellen, Jared, Marjorie, the vice president, or Ellen, and I'm sure they'll have a lot more information for you. So cool. I just want to say also, kind of when we were talking about health, right? How many people know that health is wealth, right? Now, how many people in here have health insurance? Okay, hands down. How many people don't have health insurance? Cool, appreciate the honesty. And same thing if you raise your hand on the Zoom. So there's nothing shameful about that. We're not here to put you on blast, put your information out there. But we want to make sure we're healthy in every sense of the word, right? Physical health, mental health. We're in a lot of situations. I've been on tons of stages where I'm seeing people have to supplement the stress, right? Supplement the work, supplement the grind with, drugs and different things like that, right? That's a very common thing in our genre, in our workforce, and we deal with a lot, right? Even having financial troubles, having hardships in life, all those things play into part of it. So a lot of the things we're going to talk about are going to try to help work everything at the same time, increase finances so you don't have to take those gigs that are stressing you out and beating you to the ground. So you don't have to do these, so you can have better insurance. But I want Toya from Philly Soul Now. Anybody know Toya? Toya's she's gonna come briefly and just give us some awareness about some of the resources we have and some of the things that we're working on to make sure the music community has better access to help support, health and health support. That's mental, physical, and dental too, because man, y'all can't be on stage I'm just saying, I'm sorry. But if you are like that, I love you to sing. Give it up for Toya, everybody.
Toya Haynes with Philly Soul Now. PhillySoulNow.com. We're Philly Soul Now everywhere, if you're not aware of what that is. It is a website that is devoted to covering Philly's soul music scene that is happening right now. So if you are a musician and an artist that has had a project out, like Carla Campbell, just released a soul thing, I see you right there. There's a lot of you I know that I've put your shows on our calendar, I've put your music on our playlist, on our YouTube playlist. That's because I love this community and I do the work of doing it, but it makes my job a lot easier if you send that stuff to me. So if you have projects coming out, John Hill, I know you have something coming out, please let me know so I can do an interview about it, so I can put it on our Spotify playlist, because we right now are really like the only consistent media outlet that our Philly soul scene has. That's it. And that's not to toot my own horn. Like, that's not like, go me. That's like, oh no. Like, there needs to be more coverage of the great music that's come out during a really difficult time. A really difficult time. And that's one of the things that I really love about this community, is that when the pandemic was happening, there was so much music coming out that I developed something called Quarantunes. We had like 3 volumes of a Quarantunes playlist of music that was like steadily coming out. We have like close to 200 music videos on our YouTube channel within the like past 3 years that have come out of this community. It's really important, so please reach out to me. I'm very accessible. Let me know what you got going on. But what I really want to talk to you about is there is an initiative that is very important, very close to my heart. We had a moment of silence for some musicians that have passed. And everyone here I know has gone through some form of grief when it's come to loss. And unfortunately, a lot of things that we've experienced have been preventable. One thing that I would really, really love to do is develop something that talks to the issues that are causing a lot of these things, a lot of these health issues. For instance, you talked about substance abuse happening on the road or whatever, but a lot of times people are covering these because of grief. And we want to talk to that. So there's something I would like to do, and I would like to hear from all of you about what it is that you would like to see, but primarily what it would look like is we would have something that would be monthly. It would actually look a lot like this. People would be able to see it on Zoom. Of course, we would all love to get together. There would be like an industry peer and a professional, and let's say that the topic is how to deal with grief, how to deal with substance abuse, how to deal with, like, if you're in a relationship and you're married and your marriage is like having issues because you're on the road, you know, things that we're talking to, like specific causes that cause people to self-medicate and to numb themselves. We want to get to that because we will not have Philly Soul Now if nobody's here. We won't have a music scene. There will be nothing to talk about if no one's here, and we have to help each other. It's very important that we take care of the people that take care of us. Music is taking care of us during really difficult times. We have to start taking care of musicians during very difficult times. So, I would really love to hear, can I just do like a Q&A real quick? Like, not Q&A, but like, no, but just ask people like, hey, is this something you'd be interested in? Is this something you'd love to see? Is this something that you would attend? Not like you, but like come together as community and say, hey, we're talking about mental health. We're talking about anxiety. We're talking about ADHD. We're talking about meditation. We're talking about spiritual issues. You know, we're talking, I know there are a lot of church musicians here. They're like, got a lot of church hurt. Stuff like that. Like, we want to get to like the, I hear y'all. I hear, oh, wow. That got deep. That got real deep. On a Sunday. That's like, just got hurt. Just came back from getting hurt. That's what I'm saying. We want to talk about root causes, root issues, how to deal with them, and then get the resources that you need continuously. How to get, like, it's really hard for creatives to get on top of their taxes, to get on top of health insurance. Who wants to fill out all them forms? I mean, my God, like who, like, it's a lot that you have to deal with. And so we want to be able to have things that everybody has access to, so nobody can say, I didn't know how. I didn't know where to find it. So if you're interested in that, I saw the hands go up. I've heard everything. I will be here, over here on the side. Please talk to me. I'm accessible at phillysoulnow@gmail.com. Please shoot me an email and be like, hey, I would really love if we could discuss this. Again, like I said, we'll have professionals that can speak to it, as well as like an industry peer that has like a testimony of, this is how I've dealt with being on the road, staying fit, you know, things like that. that. So thank you so much. I'm so glad that y'all are here, and I really love working with all y'all. And I know that Ramon Jones, I see is here from, I know, I'm sorry to keep calling you out, but from the Recording Academy. And if you're not familiar with Music Cares, that is a very important organization that has done extensive work globally. We had things that having to do with musicians, and they just did the Humans of Hip Hop, where they had an initiative where they did like an 8-city tour. They did something in Philly with Freeway and talking about wellness. These are things that we really need to have on a consistent basis, and that's what we're working towards. So thank you so much.
All right, yeah, that's real good stuff. Like, you know, that's real stuff, right? That has nothing to do with a venue, how much we're getting paid, right? When we did when I made the post, you know, one of the things that I felt like was the main point was, in order to see change, we must change ourselves first, right? And again, so I'm just saying that to reiterate. It wasn't a time post, it wasn't. It's about actually doing the things we need to make us better humans, better people, better professionals, better creatives, better musicians, okay? And this all falls around in that. So, oh yeah, that's what I'm doing next, thanks. This is when you make the agenda on the fly. So we are graced to have the Recording Academy here. How many people are familiar with our Philly chapter of the Recording Academy, okay? How many people are involved? Okay, how many people would like to get involved? Okay, how many people don't know much about what it does? Ooh. Okay, how many people want to know more about what it does? Okay, cool, so this is perfect, right? We have Marcus Bryant, AKA Rated Art from the Recording Academy, and he's gonna give us a little spiel about what the Recording Academy is, what it means to Philly, how you can be involved, like what's the point of it, right? That's what we wanna get to, right? Recording Academy, what? How does that involve me? So if you can just take a minute or two, give it up for Rated Art, everybody.
What's up, y'all? That's a lot of faces, a lot of family. I'm just gonna refer to everybody as family tonight. I am Marcus Bryant, also known as Rated Art. I'm an artist, singer-songwriter. Been doing it 15 years plus in the game. Before I go any further, I just want to thank Dan. If we could give him a thunderous round of applause for this. Thank you, brother. You know, your presence is seen in this city. You know, you action love, you action true care for our musicians, and you're out here, man, and I appreciate you, like bringing this together and just putting the action behind your words. So thank you for that, Dan. I am the president of the Recording Academy for the Philadelphia chapter. I have worked my way up, and I've been in it for a while, so I do feel qualified to talk about it a little bit. I do want to just acknowledge our executive director, Ramon Jones, who is in the house, and Vice President Alexandra Kutlefekovich. Try to say that 3 times fast. But we are an academy of people who are there to celebrate the creatives, not just in the Recording Academy, but in our communities across and globally, I'll say. And so we celebrate them, we serve them with our time, with our resources, with our heart and everything that we have. We advocate on behalf of everybody here and anybody who is in the music industry. So we spend time pushing the lawmakers to actually consider us in a way that is going to benefit us and truly serve us, as we need to be served. There's a lot going on, and as the world is changing, it's making things even more difficult for us as musicians, as most of y'all are experiencing. And I do believe that I am a positive guy. I do believe that things can get better and that they will get better. I do believe there's conversation that we need to have, maybe difficult, as Toya was saying, who I have profoundly affection for, she was saying about the mental illness piece. We do have to pay attention to that. There's a lot of people going out of here. And last year alone, a lot of people went out. And so whatever organization you're in, I pray that we're humanity first, and I pray that we remember that we're all people, and sure we can sing, sure we can dance, sure we can rap, write, whatever it is you do, engineer, I don't want to leave nobody out, dance, but we all connect in the middle at humanity. And there needs to be more support happening when people are getting too quiet. You know, those who are in these leadership roles whose heads are spinning right now. You know, I think we need to really be mindful and thoughtful and just picking up the phone. Text is cool. You know, everybody, we can text all day, but just picking up the phone and taking a minute to embrace your brother and sister, see what people may need. I don't care how that social media stuff looks. I think we need to take time to just be human. And so, yeah, nothing. Yeah. Clap it up. We all here. So yeah, we have another arm of the Recording Academy is the Music Cares. And we recently had our Hip Hops for Humanity, Humans of Hip Hop event where Freeway and Miss J and Lady B and others got together to have a conversation on mental health and wellness. And Music Cares. You do not have to be a Recording Academy member to benefit from it, but they will help with bills if you fall behind. This is dental, this is health. It could be just your bills at home, you know, electric, whatever it is. As a musician, we tend to give so much and fall behind. So should you run into that, should you need some help just keeping up, be sure to reach out to them. We're not taking advantage of it the way that we should have, especially people of color. So I'm just gonna put that out there, and there are resources out here. So when things get hard, don't get quiet, don't feel like you don't have support. If you are interested in being a part of the Recording Academy, please reach out to, you can reach out to me, I'll give you my email, it's marcus.bryant@loudseries.com. You can reach, or you can go to recordingacademy.com, or you can reach out to Ramon Jones, who's here, or Alexandra Kutlevekovich again. But yes, it's community. It's community. And I encourage, whether it's the Recording Academy, whatever it is, I encourage you to be a part of a community. The reason why it was so great for me to be a part of Recording Academy is because it can be isolating to be a musician. It can be, you know, we spend so much time in the studio, we spend so much time touring, but that connection is everything. Lastly, I got a quick plug, is the Grammy Awards is on February the 4th coming up, and we vote for who is nominated and who wins the Grammy. So that's the other part of it. We have voting members and we have professional members. Professional members are managers and booking agents and those who make sure that we can do what we do as artists and creatives. And then the voting side of it is those who are actually making the music, you know. So thank y'all for your time. Love is the message, and if y'all need me, if y'all, you know how to find me, you can find me through Dan. Thank you.
Thank you, Marcus. Yeah, so, man, a lot of people just don't know how you could ever win a Grammy, right? And most people don't know that it starts at your local chapter. It's some of these people that are in the room that are going to vote for your song, right? So it's very important for us to be engaged. I'm looking forward to hopefully doing more things with the Recording Academy. I'm always trying to say, hey, when I have my jam, come bring a table, because I believe it's so important that, like, we trying to push Philly, we trying to get these records out, and we trying to get us out there. We got to know the process to get it. Like, you don't just make a hot song, you can be the best in the world. If you don't know the process, you're just not going to get a Grammy, right? So we want to, for, you know, lack of knowledge, not suffer and not be, you know, disqualified. Because I've heard some songs, thanks to Toya and other people, WXPN, I heard some Philly artists, and I'm like, this is really good. It's a shame they probably don't have a clue what the Grammy chapter is of Philadelphia, right? So that's not every case. We're going to do more. And again, this is another entity that's here working and saying, hey, work for the cause. So next I want to get some venues to speak, right? That was a big, you know, topic. So I do have some venue representation here. AJ says, I'm out, that's it. It's like, he said, screw them. How many saw AJ's DIY post? I feel you on that. We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna build our own venue. Watch, we'll get there. But for now,
Say it again. Say it again.
I said we're gonna build our own venue. We'll get there. We're gonna talk about that today. Right. But for now, we have some great venues that are supporting us and that are here for us and that, would like to have a couple minutes. All right, so everybody take a breath. Woosah. We come in peace, okay? All right, I'm calling them. All right, so I wouldn't call them if it wasn't all the way right. All right, so the venue we're in right now, World Cafe Live, the general manager is no other than Curry Park. She's been an ally. She's been a great friend. She's been a resource for me. When I said, hey, we need a place to have the meeting, can we have it here? It was just a text. She said, sure, done. Just like that. She really said, hey, I understand how important this is, so don't even worry about it. What do you need? And every time I'm doing something, she's like, what do you need? What do you need? What do you need? And I'm like, hey, I appreciate that, So I want to give her the floor, and then we have Danny Allen, and I'm going to mess this up. Let's give it up for Danny Allen, right? If you don't know, Danny is with
Formerly the Philadelphia Orchestra and Kimmel Cultural Campus, now Ensemble Arts Philly.
with Ensemble Arts Philly. But did y'all hear all that? All right. So I'll just have Curry come, and then Dan, you want to come too? He's right here, and y'all can go right back to back. All right, let's get up for Curry Park, General Manager of World Cafe Live, the live music venue you are sitting in right now.
Thank you, Dan. I apologize. I was definitely not planning on speak. I was definitely here to listen and just provide the space to host. But first and foremost, thank you. There is a ridiculous amount of talent in this room and on the Zoom and just in our city at large. And really what I just want to say is thank you to Dan. Thank you for everybody for being here today. I am the general manager here at World Cafe Live. We're an independent venue. We've been around for almost 20 years. 20 years in October. And it's I've actually been here for all of those years, so it has been a very wild ride. I'm very grateful and very humbled and honored to have hosted most of you on our stages. We have this stage. If this is your first time here, I'm embarrassed for us, but if this is your first time here, we have this room here. We also have a larger room downstairs. I am absolutely here today to listen. It means very much to me to be supporting our music community. We as a venue, I would not say by any stretch have always gotten it right. And are by no means at a place that I call a gold standard, but I absolutely want you to know that there are venues out there who are very much invested in what is best for artists, what is best for the ecosystem, and I like to count ourselves as one of them. So our ears are open, our doors are open. As soon as Dan said, hey, I'm doing this thing, I'm having a meeting, I think one of the things that is important to me is that I think there's a lot of demystification that has to happen between artists and venues, particularly independent venues, which is what I'm most versed in. But I think there's a lot of misconception, and I think we could go a long way to sort of demystify the process, where the money goes. I mean, I'll give you a great example. We just had bad weather on Friday, and for those of you that know, the venue cannot cancel the show unless the city calls for no business to operate. The artist has to decide to cancel the show. And so the artist said, we're in, we want to play. We said, okay. Well, we had ticket buyer after ticket buyer after ticket buyer freak out, and that's what it is. But we had some people reach out and say, I hope you enjoy, the steak dinner that you're gonna get tonight with our ticket money since we can't come. And we're like, what? So it's always amazing to me. It's like, no, all of that money went to the artist. All of that money from the ticket went to the artist. So listen, not all venues are created equal. Not all venues have the same challenges, the same dynamic, the same setup, the same financial situation. But I think that there's a lot more that can be done, and a lot of that starts with communication. So that's why I'm really excited that all of you are here together. I'm really excited for what could come from this. We are absolutely want to be at the table with, like I said, with open ears, open doors. I apologize, I'm not going to be here for all this. We're actually hosting an event right now that's about to open doors downstairs. But I will be up and down. I will make sure Dan has a million of my cards for anybody that just wants to talk, has a grievance, has an idea, has a show coming up that they want to promote more, or me personally, if there's something that I can do, but seriously, if there's anything that the venue can do, that's what we're here to do. So we're very excited about, having been here for 20 years, we're really excited about where we're going, and I think what can be done, particularly when we talk about independent venues, because I'll be honest, and I am biased, I don't know how much can be done with corporate venues and their structures and things of that nature, but I think there's always something that can be done, but particularly with the independent venues, there's a lot of conversation to be had. and a lot of community to continue to build. So thank you for what you do, thank you for what you contribute, thank you for all of the music that you make and all of the ways that you contribute. Thank you to Dan again, thank you to Frank, also shout out to Frank. And Nicholas, truly Marcus, everyone that's here. I'm just really grateful and again, happy to host and do whatever we can in our small way. So thanks again.
Hi everyone, I'm Danny Allen, Vice President of Education and Community Engagement for the Philadelphia Orchestra and Ensemble Arts. For those of you who don't know what Ensemble Arts is, we are the new presenting brand of all of the venues under the formerly known Kimmel Cultural Campus. So that includes the Kimmel Center, the Miller Theater, and the Academy of Music. Thank you, Dan, for this opportunity to speak. And you know, I've been hearing a lot of the discourse. I'm very happy to be here tonight. I totally agree with most of everything that's been said tonight. We need a better relationship between the artists and the venues, and particularly for venues like ours. There is a lot of education that needs to happen. So I'm looking forward to the continuation of the discussions that are happening here today in a very thoughtful and solutions-oriented way. But what I will say for our venues is that we thrive on partnership. I see Frank Makos here from the school district. I see Ramon Jones here from the Recording Academy. There are opportunities for artists at all levels to perform in our venues. But there is also a different type of strategy and a different business model that comes with running a venue like the Kimmel Center. And so I make myself available for conversations. Please let me know if you are interested in anything that we have going on. I think another piece that has not been discussed yet is the education side of things. We employ a number of teaching artists that go out into our schools, into the community to kind of do work on our behalf. So yes, there are the opportunities to perform, but there are also opportunities to give back. And we are a very community-oriented organization, so we want to be here and available for our local musicians and are very supportive. I should have shouted out the Local 77. We work with them a lot, particularly because many of the musicians in our orchestra are members of the union, all of them in fact. And just, you know, I see a lot of friends in the room. I've been employed by the Philadelphia Orchestra for the past 7 years, and sort of the things that are afforded to them through the union and through their collective advocacy, I would love to see for you all. So I'm very happy to be here today and hope that we can put all of these feelings to action. But please, I'm around, I'm at a lot of your gigs. Please feel free to reach out to me whenever you see me in the community, and I look forward to working with a lot of you in the future. And I'm a Philadelphian, there isn't much that offends me. I want to hear the good, bad, and the ugly, right? Because that's the only way it's going to get better. So if any of you have had any experiences in our venues that you feel are good for me to know about, please let me know, because we have some very exciting things on the horizon that we can't speak to right now. But I hope that as a result of all the feedback that we've been receiving, that you all will feel seen, heard, and recognized in our programming going forward. All right, thank you for the opportunity. Thanks, Dan.
Okay, cool. So we're gonna get to discussion pretty soon. I just got a couple more people. I got the lovely Karen Sion from The Fire. Anybody ever been to The Fire, played at The Fire, been through The Fire? But yeah, man, I just want to give her the mic for a little bit. She's going to speak. Again, we're going to open up the conversation and start talking about some actionable things we can do to have, you know, better this year. So, Karen.
Thank you, Dan. Hi, thank you so much, Dan. I'm the only woman owning an original music venue in Philly, so I'm very proud of female power in our city.
Hold on. I'm going to let her say that again.
Wow. I'm the only woman owning an original music venue in Philadelphia. Thank you. And this year, we are are the oldest original music venue still surviving. We're in our 25th year. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. I'm an opera director and vocal coach, so that's kind of weird that I run a punk rock club, but you know, that's Philly for you. I grew up here in the city, and I just want to tell you about a couple things we're doing so that you can come out to them. Of course, we love all you musicians, and we want to support you in every way we can. And if you call my phone number at the fire, that's my personal cell phone. So you can speak to me. If you have any complaints, if you have any things you love to say, any reason, call me, tell me, because I want to hear what you have to say. Because we really care. We really, really care. And we appreciate every one of you. Now, what's upcoming is every Monday, the first Monday of every month, we do the Monday night meetup. And there we have mentors come. And it's free, and you can come into the venue, and it's the mentors, that we have a get together at 6, and then at 7, the mentor speaks. And we had John from Winding Way Records, we had the head of WRTI, we've had amazing sound engineers and promoters, and all coming to talk to you about how you can promote your career and be a better musician in all sorts of ways. The last thing I want to say is we are bringing the Flow machine to Philadelphia. It's a machine that teaches musicians how to write music in flow. And when you write music in flow, it puts the listener in a right brain dominant state of mind. So we've started this initiative called Philly in Flow. And we are going to be the first certified flow city in America, in the world. Philadelphia is going to be, through the music that we make here. Because when people go into a right brain dominant state of mind, they're more loving, more caring, more in harmony with nature, and they don't create crime. They create love. So here's the Philly in Flow, all of your music being in flow. Dan, thank you so much for this amazing event. Thank you all so much, and please call me.
She got my brain turned. I want to jump into discussion right now. Yeah. She just already sparked like 10 ideas just off of that last thing. Philly and Flow. You heard it here first. No. So I got one more person, and then we're gonna open it up. But this guy, when I was 11, I was going to this school called Grover Washington Junior Middle School, if anybody's familiar. And we got Grover in the house. Is that Jazz Lewis? Jasmine. What's up? Jasmine was in the band with us, yo. It was me, it was Jasmine. I played drums. Jerry Tate. We had a lot of killers in there. John Kennan Graves, and we was all in the same middle school together. And it was like we was playing all this stuff, you know. Our former band teacher was Brian Passer from the Philly Pops. And so he had us like militant. I remember I was like, yo, I want to play for a Star Spangled Banner. I was 5th grade. He was like, are you going to play it the right part? Can you read music? And I'm just a church kid, so I knew I couldn't read. And I'm just trying to, you know, use my ear. It said dun 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 dun, psh, instead of on the dun 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 dun, psh. Man. It killed, and he was like, his face was so red, but he was a great teacher, by the way. But when we got, the next year, we got Mr. Makos. And Mr. Makos, like Frank Makos, right? I'm still 11 in my head. I'll be like, Mr. Makos. He was like my Jack Black. You know, he was like, seriously, because he was chill, he was young, so I ain't respect him as much. We was arguing, you know, he yelling at me, I'm yelling at him. It was just like, oh, that's my big bro, so we kind of just had a good environment like that. Like, if we wasn't arguing, it was like, nah, that wasn't a good day. He probably wasn't, you know. Well, it got one day where we was like, and Jasmine, you remember this, we said, we don't want to play this no more. We was playing like Bach, Mozart, all this stuff, you know, Killer Joe, all this, you know, cute, all the little moaning, all the, you know, standard little stuff but we were like we were really advanced. It's like church kids, church prodigies, right? Who just didn't know how to read music that well. But once we got the music from, you know, the militant Brian Passer was like, you're gonna learn this music. And then we had the more easy breezy Frank Mako's like, hey, if it feels good, you know. So we was like, we don't wanna play this no more. And he was like, what do you wanna play? We was like, we wanna play the stuff that we hear on the radio. Like, that's the cool music. And he said, well, you create the charts, you could play it. So me and Jasmine and a couple other friends, we went by the piano. I had the ear. She played bass, so she was like, okay, here goes the bass clef. Shalon, she knew the treble clef, so she said, here's the treble clef. And I'm giving him this super, super, super long intro because at a young age, that was one of the first times in music that, other than church, that I was like, yo, we can just create, like that installed like, hey, I want to do this instead. I want to do this. I've never felt confined to a certain thing, right? I always felt like, and him allowing us to do that, you know, for whatever reasons, is what allowed us to grow creatively and push that, right? So right now, that was his first teaching job. He turned down a tour. He turned down a major tour to be a teacher, and he taught me. Now he is head of every single music school in this city. And so and all he's doing is really upping the program. We have more teachers than we've ever had. We have more funding for the school district than we ever had. We have more students. We have more people that are doing alum, going back to schools, playing gigs for students and different things like that. And he's always just kind of been that person that's been an ally. You see me, you see him. I'm like, anything I'm trying to do, I'm asking him. So I just want to thank you for all the things you've done for me. What you do with the, I was about to cry, just kind of. But just all the things you've done for me, all the things you've done for our school district, people who've gone through the Philly School District and people who are coming out. So I just want to give him the moment to talk, you know, just address you guys, maybe talk to how you can get involved with the school district, you know, whether you want to be a teacher, whether you want to do a gig, you want to do a performance at one of the schools. It's just a lot of different things. So here's just somebody you need to know, be connected with, and then we're going to jump into discussion.
All right, I'll be brief. That's said enough. And I'm also I see the chat's going too. I'm the last thing before we open it up. So I'm gonna try to give a little bit of positivity before you start slamming Dan for the rest of the night. You have my full permission. I'm gonna just clarify a few things. The reason I gave them so much freedom as a teacher is because I was just getting back from my own gigs a couple hours ago, so I'm still feeling the effects of it. So they were in the practice room. I was taking some naps in the closet. But no. But seriously, you know what, I want to pick up from what Dan said. For me, it was just all about collaboration and ownership, right, and agency. I could tell them what I thought was cool, but I was already old at that point. That was 20-something years ago. So it was really about, what do you all want to do? How do you want to represent yourself in front of this community? How do you want to get up on that stage and look? What do you want to wear? What do you want to sound like? And I think it's a metaphor for why I've stayed in this work all this time, because I went from doing it in that small group of brilliant young musicians, and when I say brilliant, you know, it was clear to me in that moment, my purpose on this earth. I love playing, I'll never stop playing, but what I was able to be a part of and see develop, that was even more magical, and that offstage work just became so important. And so year by year, and school by school, and moving into the district, I got to see more and more of it, and you know, I look around this room and I've got to collaborate with so many of you. And the flip side of that is, you know, I'll go to work and say, we should build a program for music industry, cool. And then I'll go out at night because our kids are playing, and then the mentors have their gig over at the next venue, so we go over there, and then it's 2:30 in the morning, and I'm standing next to our current teachers, former students, all these things, and I'm getting an earful on, well, here's what we need. We need more money. We need better sound systems in the venue. We need all these different things. And so rather than being more tired the next day, I go to work on 4 hours of sleep, and I'm like, okay, great, we gotta do more work. We gotta get these things solved. And you know, the older you get, the more you end up in these positions of conversation that you can navigate and connect. And I think my favorite thing to do now is to connect people. So small plug for those of you that are interested in anything education. One of the most exciting things we've been working on in the school district is an initiative called Mic'd Up. It's music industry classrooms. It's all about bringing all the you people into the room. All right, really glad for that. I know some of our members, I'm trying not to name any names because I don't want to go down that road, but it's been really exciting to bring a mentorship model from the music community and the music industry into the rooms with students, not only in the classroom space, but out in professional venues. I will plug that starting next month, every second Saturday, we'll have teens here on this stage running this venue, so we'll be featuring small teen combos for 20-minute sets, then there'll be a house band for a jazz R&B jam session, and it'll be booked by young students, audio engineered by young students, marketed by young students, and they're all gonna get paid. Everybody's getting paid. Look for second Saturdays here. Shout out to Roy Turfs in the back, he'll be one of the lead mentors on that, so I will call you by name, as well as Luke Carlos O'Reilly and Nimrod Speaks, so hit them up. I just want this note, man, this is a note I keep in my phone when I have these conversations at 2 o'clock in the morning when the venues are clear now. These are the things the scene needs. So if you're in this space and you know these people, or this is your specialty, because I know I see a lot of musicians, I see a lot of the creatives, but behind us we need finance, business managers, accountants, graphic designers, sales, sponsorship folks, publicists, videographers, photographers, content creators, social media, booking, therapists, behavioral health specialists, event and festival producers and booking agents, distribution specialists, songwriters, producers, engineers, studios, live musicians, MDs, arrangers, orchestrators, live production companies and staging companies. Like, that's the scene. That's what we're here to build, that's the community. And I'll say this, for a lot of years you probably heard, do it all yourself, figure it out, do your thing, but that's not the best advice. Look around this room, there are people, I'm looking at faces that are musicians that I've seen play, that also do sound at events for us when they're not playing, and you look around, you see musicians running all the things, so that's all of you, and that's this community. So we're gonna open up this floor, we wanna hear it all. I'm in the corner taking notes, we're gonna try to make sure that we can follow up with everything we hear, that it gets to the right groups that you heard, venues that you heard, government officials that are here or not here. But this is all about you and building up this team for the next 20 or 30 years. And appreciate it, love all you, and here you go.
Thank you, Frank. I can say that now, I'm an adult. It's like, you know, it's a habit. It's like the person you grew up with in church and they say, Sister Mary. And so you still, even outside, you be like, sister. I was still calling that anyway. But yeah, this is the time where we can actually, you know, we're gonna be taking the notes. We're not just talking to be blowing air. Again, we have the people here. There's so many people that didn't speak that are still sitting in this room, right? That are just observing. So, and this is gonna be recorded. This is gonna be sent out. We're gonna be taking this information. And we're gonna actually, talk about creation. I will make an announcement of something that I'm going to create, and we'll talk a little bit about it, but I was talking to Makos about this a little bit, and I didn't get the full okay on it because I didn't really finish the idea, but I'm gonna just speak it into the atmosphere. I had been for a while, before this post came, I was like, yo, we need something that is for us. So many times I look at, you know, organizations, and this is no shade to anybody who's spoken or hasn't spoken, right? And I was the guy that had been trying to do the work, the Lorax fighting for the trees, right? And a lot of the reason that you are here is because you guys know me. And you know what I've done, you know the work I've done, and all I've tried to be is a mouthpiece into that, right? And for so long, it felt like our voice wasn't being heard, right? Like the things that we could actually do to benefit ourselves. So that's a big problem in itself of when you have people who are not accurately representing you, but not actually conferring, you know? I remember during the pandemic, there were surveys going out for the music community. And I'm like, I know for a fact that none of the people that I know are seeing this, right? I know for a fact that you're not getting the full data of what's actually going on with us, right? I know for a fact that your booking agency doesn't actually know Carla Gamble, right? Doesn't know Arnetta Johnson, doesn't know the John Nils, doesn't know the actual people who have the gems that we have in the city, right? And it would just frustrate me because I'll be knocking on these doors, and I don't got no title, right? If I ever did get into the meeting, it would just say Dan Rouse, musician. you know, and I got a lot of definite, I was like, yo, I'm gonna just build something just so I can say president or something. See if people respect me. It was just like, you know, president, you know, I really did like president of Dan Rouse one time. And it was like, I mean, it was like, oh, hey, Mr. President. I was like, but I say that to say, all of the things that we've heard today, all of the things that we've been presented with, all the things that we're going to continue to send to you guys, like I'm going to make sure we have a full resource list. You know, there's Jazz Philadelphia, there's WXPN, WRTI, there's just Philly Music Alliance. There's so many more things that we can resource, but this will be for us entirely, right? And let me just make sure I'm saying it right. Yeah, oh, easy. So I want to introduce the Philly Musicians Council, right? And what we will pretty much be is the true, complete, unadulterated advocate for us, the actual creators. We're not union, we're not city government, we're completely removed from all those. We work in tandem, we will work in tandem with everything, but this is something that's gonna be an entity on its own, that's just for, like, if anybody watched Game of Thrones, just imagine the ball guy for the greater good of the realm, right? Sure. That will be our position. We'll always be like, what's the, right? Right now it's just me because I just created it. But I just wanted to put that in your ear, and I will be, doing some recruiting. I'll be doing some, feelers to see. I've already kind of talked to some people who have shown interest that say, hey, I want to be part of that core team. That'll help us manage these, right? So we don't have to do this every time. We can have a group of, say, representatives that meet and then maybe one of these big meetings every so often, right? Because what we're going to talk about has to be acted on, it has to be held accountable, and we have to make sure the progress is being kept up with, right? So I want to open the floor, and if you just have any thoughts of things you don't like, things we can do better, ideas you have on how we can do better, I'm just going to open up the floor. Let's not be super long because we have a lot of people, so I may have to cut off at some time. We'll get some of the people on Zoom who want to, so if you're on Zoom and want to say something, raise your hand, but the mic is officially open. How can we improve the Philly music scene? And just come on up, because in order to, just come right up, because we need you to speak in the mic for the recording. Let's give it up, and then everybody just introduce yourself, and then this is a perfect welcome.
Tandem. Good evening, everybody. My name is Shakina B. I'm very excited to be here today. Thank you, Dan, for opening the floor and allowing this dialogue to take place. So, first things first, just because we're artists or creatives or creative cultural producers, we're trying to connect with the venues, and the one thing I see is that the venues are taking a major percentage of ticket sales from individual artists. Nobody's talking about that. We need to speak about the fact that there is one in particular, because I do name names, like for instance, City Winery taking 30%, $400 in marketing, $400 in promotion, production, another business privilege tax, amusement tax, and then by the time you get to net box office receipts, that's what the artist gets when the minimal promotion occurs for artists that are not as notable. So that's for that. Is everybody here with me for a second? Yeah. Our organization is the Women's Coalition for Empowerment, and we provide free educational content. We do educational platforms similarly to this, and Dan, you really inspired me with the positivity that you bring. I'm like, maybe I need to tone down some of my bark, but not the bite. The bite will still be firm and sharp. The bite will be firm. I mean, as artists trying to connect with the venues, this is a great networking opportunity today for those that are here, and I'm hoping that some actual change occurs and this is not a performative interaction. I'm hoping that people who are in leadership positions at these venues will
take the time out to effectively change some of the contracts, because the contracts are not right. Some of the venues and restaurants and bars and event facilities actually make better pay for artists. Dan, you talked about the $100 gig situation. How about the $500 gig or the $600 gigs for an entire band, and you're doing 75-minute sets and you're tired and they don't give you any food to eat unless you're of a certain name, but we need to speak about that. What are we going to do to change that? And I'm doing a Creatives Chat event that's free and open to the general public, since we're talking about, you know, the people who have died. There's too many GoFundMes happening for artists. Please come to our free Creatives Chat going on March 10th, and we'll have a funeral director, an insurance individual, and an attorney talking about how artists can use the monies that they do get so that we can dispel the struggling artist narrative by being proactive about how we're managing our money. But first things first, let's deal with the challenges, and I hope the venues today are going to make changes, because I hope after today, something should change, because if not, I'm gonna talk about y'all by name on Facebook. That's my time, I'm Shakina Bear.
Thank you. Yeah, I think one of the things, and I've talked with Shakina this week, last week, if I could speak on like just the kind of venue relations, you know, like I have a certain group of friends that call me Diplomatic Dan, because I am usually pretty aggressive, but in a way that's you know, in my opinion, sometimes effective for me. It works, you know, and for me, it don't gotta be the picket signs outside of time. It really don't. We don't gotta go to Chris's and, you know, we don't have to do all that, right? There's so many more options. Like one thing, like I said, we build a venue, boom, we're done. We got 365 days a year for us, right? Not just nights either, afternoons, mornings, it's our venue, right? So that solves a problem, right? But then we also have the relationships. So many people that you heard talking and the people that will be connected to this circle are people that can just go directly towards it. That can actually say, oh, I have the Office of Business Development, I have the director's number. And so I'll call her and we'll try to say, hey, their business strategy says they can't blah, 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 and they're saying that they don't have this money. Let's help them develop their business and blah, blah, blah. We inject some money into there, boom, they pay us. There's so many different ways. And then if we got to, like, if it comes to it, I'm ready to duke it out, right? But there's just so many options to exhaust before that, right? So just know that, like, you know, the people that are gonna be representing this council and movement are gonna be actively and intensely working towards all the things we're gonna talk about. But we're gonna, you know, try to use the channels we have so far, because I think so many people want mutual interest, and, you know, I think I'm pretty good at seeing which mutual interests can align and how we do those things, you know. So who else wants to say anything? Just come right up, yeah. It's no real order, it's just kind of like, if you want to talk, no, definitely come. So this is quicker, you know, we can gather right here, and yeah, let's just keep it to like a minute at the most. All right.
I have like 3 points.
Just introduce yourself and keep it to a minute.
First of all, Cordell, nice to meet a lot of you. Secondly, give honor to God. What y'all doing is very beautiful. The third point gonna be a little long-winded. I have a group, we go by Hood Folk, been in Philly for a while now. I didn't want to say anything because everything she just said was, I literally said to my young man back there, bro, what about the funerals? A singer that was in our band, he passed away. And I just expected the scene, you know, I put myself out there for everybody the best way I can, you know. What y'all doing, it needs to be done, because people like me, I'm from 31st and Berks. I went to Kappa, but I hated it. You feel me? Mr. Minkles, I appreciated him because I was learning how to play saxophone and I wound up being first chair in all 3 seats. And he's like, pick one, Cornell. Okay, I picked the baritone. So I just appreciate the opportunity, but the nurturement for you teachers, my bass player in my band is the teacher at Strawberry Mansion. And I have to encourage him all the time that, you know, you are making a change in people's lives. I just want to give motivation more than, if you know me, you know I can easily go there, but I'm not. I just want to give y'all the motivation to say, if you see more people like me, I'll be on the streets. I'll be playing. Say something. Really mean what you're saying. Hey, I got this venue, young man. Would you like to play for my art gallery? Yeah, here's my email. Here's my number. You can contact me here. I'll be out here playing tomorrow. And you want to walk by? All right, cool. I called you last night, but last thing and I'm done. We got to support hip hop too. We're not going to act like hood folk. You feel me? And I'm just so nervous to really go there because you put a lot of smut on things sometimes that invoke power, you know? Sometimes in rap, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And you're saying a lot of things that are true, but you're not saying it in a way that's, you know, nice. So I just ask that everybody stay motivated, stay unified. What y'all doing is beautiful. All right?
Hi, my name is Leah Menaker. I actually just wanted to share a resource because I keep hearing everyone talk about mental health and I didn't know about this one until recently and I felt like I could not leave this room without sharing it. It's called Backline. Yeah, okay, so maybe some of you know it. And it's basically a bunch of therapists provide, I'm pretty sure it's a volunteer, they just provide their time to give support. There's support groups. They also meet to help you create a mental health plan. I think there's some other things too that they do. But if you go to backline.care, you can get some more information. And I think they help anyone in the music industry. It's free and they'll connect you to those resources. So I know that there's more that needs to be done, but like in the meantime, I've heard great things about it and I just wanted to share in case anyone wanted to check it out.
Hi everybody, my name is Summer Jordan. I am the former Miss Black America for Pennsylvania. I'm also a creative youth advocate. I'm not breast sorry y'all, family inside. I'm also an anti-gun violence advocate, but I am licensed to carry, so don't play with me. I came to shine a little bit of light on the street performer. For those of y'all that don't know, I am a Kappa grad, class of 2013. I was homeless by the end of my junior year of high school, and I street performed the entire way through. I was actually making so much money that my social workers were going to stop me from street performing because they thought that it was a cover for prostitution. So I actually am an advocate. We are the first responders. I was on South Street the night of the mass shooting 2 summers ago. So we are literally like on the front line of defense, as well as the regional rail lines, Suburban Station and Market East stations. I don't know why, but they got rid of we had assigned spots for street performers, and we got a monthly renewable permit from the city. I don't know why they got rid of the program, but that program literally saved my life. And we had a 3-hour slot. If the person that was assigned after you didn't come within the first 15 minutes, you got to take their 3 hours. So it was like having a part-time job as a student without actually having to apply for anything. And I think now that's also why there's an increase in tension and disrespect and violence in the malls and in regional rail lines and disturbances in SEPTA, because we don't have the arts anymore. They're kind of doing away with us in those spaces, and we bring a lot of healing. I'm huge on actually the process of I'm in the process of getting my master's degree in music therapy. Unfortunately, I tried to go through Immaculata. They want me to learn guitar and piano, but I'm a master violinist, so it's gonna take me a little bit of time. So y'all keep your prayer. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about that. If anybody has any questions, you can talk to me in the back. I don't like being in front of people, but thank you so much.
Good evening, everybody. How y'all doing tonight? Thank you for coming out. I want to thank Dan real quick. My name is Martin Dunlap. Go ahead, clap it up for Dan. Clap it up for Dan. My name is Martin Dunlap. A few things. I am a videographer. You named a bunch of things, and I want that list from you, Frank, because I want that list. I want to promote that list. I'm a videographer. I'm also I have a very unique perspective. I'm a fan. I'm probably the only person in who's not a musician, but I feel very, very, very strongly about the scene. I have a mantra. It's called "Music is Medicine." I actually made that on the shirts. I mean that. is what I stand on. A couple, just one or two things. I have a platform. It's called the Unseen Scene Project. If you make music or play live, I would love to tell people about it, just like Philly Soul Live. I known Toya a long time. We've worked together on things. She's the best. I want to know about what you're doing. If you need videography, talk to me. If you just need someone to say, hey, my show's on Thursday, I want to help facilitate in that area and in that platform. So, that being said, my name is Martin Dunlap. It's called the Unseen Scene Project. That's on IG. Send me a message, whatever. I want to support the music scene as a fan. You want a great, well, I think one of the things they talked about was venues, and they talked about artists, but there's a third component about this whole music economy thing, and that's the fan. And I can get, as someone who's a huge fan of the scene, I see a lot of musicians that I know in here, big supporter of the scene. Talk to me. I'll tell you the third part of it. What makes a fan come out to come see you and pay their money and buy your merch and whatever, what have you. It kind of starts there. So you guys, thanks for coming out. I can't wait for the next one. The Unseen Scene Project. I'm Martin Dunlap. I'd love to shoot your video. Have a great one.
Y'all, my bad. Somebody told me to come from the other side. Hi, my name is Javon. Hey, y'all. Some people might know me as Prophetess. I just wanted to kind of come up here and kind of be like a voice for the little people, the small people in the scene. There's so many different events and things that are always going on. I just think that we can provide more support to those who are new, upcoming, trying to get their feet wet in the scene as well, and just breaking that barrier of like, once you've already become prominent, or a prominent person or a music person here in the city, just allowing new people to come into that space and like also flourish in that. Compared to like being like, oh well, like I wouldn't be caught dead doing this over here with that, and just kind of allowing yourself to walk into that space and maybe suggest some sort of improvement or, encourage these people who are coming up, like, including the youth. Like I just started this performing arts collective with my friend who isn't here. I wish she could make it. Shout out to Visionary, whatever. But we work with children and youth and teens, and we're just trying to, help put them on with like music events and the mental health things, like that, keeping them out of the streets. And I just feel like if they see us loving on each other and, being more supportive of each other, and it doesn't necessarily have to be like, oh, I'm showing up to every event that's thrown. If you can't make something, share it, post it, really push every event that you see. Sometimes it's not that I don't think that we're supporting each other, but it's like about who's saying what. Like only like Dan said, the servers were only reaching a certain amount of people. You get what I'm saying? It wasn't reaching the little people in between. And I just think that we focus on pushing that and like really genuinely supporting each other, then things could be better. That's all I have to say.
Hey Shadia, we just want to give somebody on Zoom a second. Shadia, if you can unmute, we're ready for you.
Hi.
Hey.
Sorry. Hi, I'm Shadia. I'm so really inspired by this conversation, and we haven't met Dan, but really cool of you to organize this. I have no background in music. I was a girl visiting Philly in 2021. I fell in love with the people in the music scene, and I'm so honored, and touched, not even honored, I'm touched to hear a couple people shout out John. John L is definitely one of those people that you see perform live and you're so in awe, you're like, the value of this is so high. And John, as well as some other folks too, like, there were so many experiences that I had in that short summer that I had for free. And because I am coming as a guest, at least for me, I was thinking like, wow, the value of this is so high. Had I been asked how much, had I been asked to pay, I would have paid literally hundreds. And it was really incredible to see the Philly scene and witness it as a guest. And then I came back to Toronto, which is where I'm originally from, and decided to work at a jazz club. And from working at a jazz club, I observed some problems in the Toronto scene and have now, as of June 2022, have gone freelance with a live music venue. And I say live music venue in quotes because it's very similar to what you're proposing, Dan, which is that you guys go freelance and create your own spaces. And whether that be in like a venue that already exists or a venue that you create by bringing your own sound equipment, hiring your own videographers, doing your own social media campaign, et cetera, et cetera. Definitely am inspired by this conversation that you guys are having of really taking control and creating your own venue and being your own venue. When I first started Daisy Studios, I started off in, like, after I quit the jazz club, I started in the club that I was actually previously working in. And the club manager wanted to make my jam a certain way. He wanted to move it from the top floor, which was cool, down to the bottom floor. And it was funny because that, you know, you guys are talking about serious things like sound quality and pay, but that of like, knowing that I wanted my jam to be on the top floor and not on the second, or not on the first floor, was my reason for leaving the venue and being like, okay, well, I'm just gonna go freelance then, completely, and be in my own venue, and it was just like the brick box. But I think, you know, Philly is so inspiring, and you guys are so inspiring, and there's definitely so many people in Philly that probably don't even realize, that value this kind of music and would pay a lot for this kind of music. So I think like these efforts of trying to go freelance and trying to organize yourself so that you're not beholden to the rules of the venue is definitely the way to go. And I think the last point to that is, at least for my observations of my friends that are musicians, it's really hard to do this kind of work when you are a musician. It's easier for me to do this kind of work because I am not the creative mind behind making the music. I could stress about all the other things that are not related to the music. So if you can find someone within your community who has an equal amount of passion to do that grunt work for you, I think that would also be a good way to go. That way you guys can preserve your creativity and focus on the music. So power to you. I love this conversation. I'm so honored to even listen. And yeah, to the moon for you guys, to the moon.
Thank you, Shadia. We're going to do a little bit more open forum, and then I do want to probably maybe do some more directed talking, just because there's so much to talk about. But we want to kind of focus it to where we can leave today with some steps, some actionable goals. So we do have Sarai coming, and let's just try to keep it short because there's a lot of people that have a lot to say. So we're going to do 60 seconds.
Hey everybody! Hi! Okay, you guys look really beautiful. Thank you for showing up today. Thank you, Dan, for putting this on. And thank you
for just showing up, right? Because we need this. So my name is Soraya Nicole, and I'm just here to share a resource on the microphone today. There is a grant opportunity for Black musicians and Black creators of all mediums. So I just want to emphasize that it's for all creatives, and pretty much you'll be able to apply to actually support the Philadelphia music scene more so by creating something to acknowledge the history of the music scene. This project is called the Black Music City Project, and if you apply, right, and you submit this project that you want to do, you'll be able to receive $1,500 to $5,000, right? And so the deadline for this project is January 31st. And so it's blackmusiccity.com. You do not have to only be a musician to apply. You can be a photographer. You can be a creative in general, right? So this is not just only for musicians, but musicians most of the time get the gig as well. So I just wanted to share that I am one of the selection committee members for Black Music City, and I'm also the host for that. So hopefully if that's something that interests you and you have a project that you want to do that needs funding, this is a great opportunity for you. Thank you.
Evening, y'all. Evening, y'all. Please. My name is Radiance. I'm a musician of Flatus in the community. And I just wanted to speak to, the mental health and the separatism at the moment. I've been able to be in the musician community, and this one is a completely different community than the DJs and the parties and the whole lit vibes. And I remember when I first got here, I actually didn't really rap or do really anything, but I came to jams like Local Village and stuff like that that had all those people, and it was included with meditation, healing. They just talked to community issues and things that really mattered. And I feel like it's not as prominent to be in these spaces and have that. We have some drives here and there, but we actually don't really talk about stuff. I literally talked about suicide, being bipolar, literally being able to be vulnerable in that space in front of all people and feel welcome and still get a call the next day from a friend or get a follow-up. I feel like we're so invested in the Instagram part, we actually don't talk to each other. We don't call each other. It's a lot of texting, it's a lot of digital stuff, and I miss that togetherness. Even with the music, it was also performance art. It wasn't a lineup on an open mic, it was you grab the mic and you play. You got your instrument and you play. And I miss that. I miss the challenge. I miss us challenging each other and feeling like it's more of the innocence of not just doing it for the work, but doing it because we love it. The love for the music, I feel like is missing a lot more. And I'm just thankful for the people that I was able to start with that are in this room that challenged me to rap better or be better, because the person I am 7 years later, I'm really proud of. And I want more people to be able to find their identity the way I got the chance to, because not everybody gets that chance. So thank y'all.
What's up, y'all? My name is Jerry Rosado. I'm your friendly neighborhood bass player. 2 points for me. I didn't really see everybody in the room, but I might be one of the only people here representing the Latin community, Latin musicians, play salsa and all that stuff. I wanted to broaden the conversation that a lot of the same struggles is not just in the venues you guys normally play at. It's even at our venues. One of our staples just told every band that they're not to be hired because there's nothing, no money, nothing. So it's affecting a lot of communities in music in general. I also play, I see my man Dan Joseph up there, we play a lot in casinos. And it's different in Atlantic City, because that's where we play at mainly. It's more of an infrastructure there, but similar thing. And the Philly casino scene, I don't even know about it. I just go over there, right? So, but they have more of an infrastructure set up that just non-existent, but even over there. And I could probably name a bunch of cities where this is happening. And it's from the schools to, like I said, the street performances, the train stations, and everything. Music is healing. Music is power. Music, you know, can go to a place that I like to say we're the only art form that physically touches you. The vibrations go through you. People, I've been with people who've had a terrible day go by and they might hear me and say, wow, that just put a smile on my face. You changed my whole day. And I'm pretty sure other people here have a similar story. So we're important. And the fact that our importance is being diminished and the fact that our importance is just being cast aside is very sad. But this is beautiful to have everybody here to get on one accord and get to one place. And one last thing I want to say, talk about, is I'm also a church musician. And I'm a minister of music at my church, and I know there's a lot of church hurt, and I'll go about that. But the other side of the church is the church, and from the world I come from, is a big part of the musician community and industry. I mean, 95% of the musicians I talk to that I know of, we all started in the church. It's a breeding ground. Is it perfect? No, it's much the same, almost the same issues we have at venues we have at church. And it's funny, and I wanted to extend the conversation maybe to talk to a whole bunch of pastors in the area that I may be connected to, because there are some things in the church that we could fix. But the church has been great. The church has been a steady source of income for a lot of us here. I know guys that only play at church that have been there for 30, 40 years, and they retired, you know, and they're able to have a living, and people leave college and they get hired from churches. Pandemic happened, venues were shut down, but the church was still open. And there were some pastors who had the resource to still cover their musicians. I mean, I had pastors that I wasn't even with, and they still said, here's something. So in every place there might be bad, but there also is some good. And the church has been such a big, not only breeding ground, but source. I even tell a lot of the college kids, hey, if you want something steady and you want to help your community, help your local church out. Even if you don't believe it, it's a good place to learn. It's a good place to adapt, because Lord knows we will learn anything at any time, wrong keys, wrong time signatures. But it's a great place to learn. It's a great place to help your community. And it's one of the only places I know that I could go around the corner and there's a church everywhere. And most churches need musicians. Up until the point where there's a friend of ours named C-Dub that created an app for churches that don't have musicians, that they just play on their phone. It's incredible, but even then, some people had an issue because they're taking musicians' jobs. So that's another resource that we can have going to the church. And that's also another conversation we need to have. Because in the same way, a lot of these churches don't know, there's no instruction manual. It's not like pastors talking to the pastors, hey, what you paying your guy? Sometimes they say, hey, come over to my, that's not a conversation. But it is a great source. It's an abundance. And I just kind of want to say, on the side note, I'm thankful for Dan. I'm also thankful for the church. Amen. For everybody else. And it's funny because I'm pretty sure if I ask who plays at church regularly, there's probably gonna be a bunch of hands raised up in this room. You know what I'm saying? Because it's also a huge part of our community. It's also a huge part of our community. And I just wanted to be the one to add that to our conversation today. And I'll pass it on to the next time. I love y'all. And whoever's next is next.
Hey everyone, my name is Namara McCall. Thank you, Dan, for opening up this space. I am a singer, songwriter, multi-hyphenate. I'm also serving as an advisor on the Record Academy for Philadelphia chapter. I'm also a church musician, and it's funny because Jay, the alignment, that's exactly what I wanted to come up here and share. And I'll stir the pot because I am a pot stirrer. So one thing that I really I've been listening. I grew up in the church. My parents are pastors. We've done ministry, all of those different things, led in worship, navigated different bands, all of these different things. And the main thing that I've noticed, especially with small churches, because Jay did mention, you go outside, you got a church on every corner, you got places of worship that need musicians, right? But the other side of it is that churches don't necessarily have the funding to create the experiences that they want to for worship. And so one very practical way is for churches to apply for grants that would have operational budgets to pay for musicians to come. I don't necessarily know if that exists yet, and I would love to be a part of those conversations so that they could happen. I served in 2 different ministries where I advocated for not just us paying for somebody's gas or throwing them something on the side just because we have so many other things for operational development, but what does it look like to actually pour into those musicians, because biblically it is our responsibility. For those of y'all who know, y'all like to read the Bible, the Levites were the ones that went before everyone else, and those were musicians. Those were artists and creatives, and it's a responsibility of the church to also take care of those musicians who are creating that space to usher into worship. So what that looks like is, what does grants look like? What does actual funding look like? What does emotional support look like? What does actual therapy look like? And so I would be really interested in having those conversations specifically for church musicians, but then also for worship leaders, because worship leading is a whole other space where you are navigating and they need support as well. I know several worship leaders who are serving at 5 different churches and they are overrun, and they are super talented, but they are burnt out, and they find themselves in burnout basically every quarter. And it's like, well, who's actually pouring into those spaces? Who's actually pouring back into them? So I would happily be a part of those conversations and other ones, but I know that there are so many others who want to share. So thank you so much.
What's up, y'all? So, hi. So I'm Carla Gamble. Dan, thank you, World Cafe Live. I love World Cafe Live. I've had many shows here. I released my EP twice here. Many tickets that I've been on. I'm a huge fan. I wanted to shed light on the collaborative effort of us. Like, this is key that we do get together. It's not enough soul Aquarian energy for me. You know, we really have to take it back to really working with each other, and I'm a strong supporter and advocate for working with women, okay? Clapping up for the women. And really putting together, I curate an event. I did it last year. We started called the Voices of Philly Soul, and we had it here in the main room. And this year we're doing it again, but we're gonna do a twist. My partner, my manager, Nina, behind the scenes, Nina is a graphic designer, an amazing manager, and we are curating the Voices of Philly Soul here again, March 21st. My babe over here. Where's Soraya Nicole? Oh, Soraya. And I don't really want to just go over it. I want people to really just understand that we need y'all there. We need the women there, we need the men there, support us. We have 3 events in March. So we're gonna start off with the Voices of Philly Soul Comedy Edition, which is gonna be at Punchline, February 25th. Then we're gonna roll over to the mental health panel, the Healing Circle, where we have just Lady Alma, Roxy Fab, we have Carol Riddick, Frenchie Davis, Deanna Williams, my love. And we're gonna really have these people sitting on the panel to talk to us, to talk to me, to talk to you. Grief, what Toya, mentioned. This is a big deal. So grief, anxiety, financial things, and just the experience, because you really never know what somebody else is going through, and you'll think that, they don't understand, but they do. So, yeah, am I missing anything? Yes, so the women's show, the actual Voices of Philly Women's Show is March 21st. And it will be in the main hall. So please purchase tickets. Come to my website, www.therealcarlagamble.com, or you can go to my page and follow me at The Real Carla Gamble, and I got all the info there. Yeah, so I love y'all. I just released a project called Soul Aesthetic. Please go download. It is a song on there called Ode to Philly, representing Philly. I love my city, and I love y'all. So yeah.
All right, I just got a button because it's getting late. We're over the time. I definitely appreciate everyone's opinion, and this is not slighting anybody at all. But I do want, before we leave, and I know people have to go, I want us to feel like we have an understanding of what we're going to do to make the Philly scene better. So I know we're gonna have a lot of people just expressing how they feel, or shouting out their stuff. So what I'm gonna do is we're just gonna have to audible, because we do gotta go. We're gonna actually just dig into it, right? Because at this point, I don't know exactly, and if anybody else knows, but I don't know what we're gonna do together right? And I don't want to lose people. So we'll definitely, I'm sorry for people in June. I'm, definitely going to, if we can, get people to talk, but I gotta take a little more, focus towards this conversation. So, okay, we've named problems, we've expressed those things, but we have to fix it, right? So what strategies do we have to actually bring solutions to the problem? One of the things we talked about that we heard is there's not enough money in the venues, there's not enough money being brought out of the venues, right? So one of the things I think we have to focus on is how we market Philly. Jay talked about AC. They have very, very cookie cutter markets of what the bands are. Everybody here is so dope, and I remember all the times when people say, "What's your band name?" I'm like, "Oh, I just call my homie," right? But we have to actually, as a city, fit the molds. We have to say, this is funk night. Fillmore sells out $1,200 tickets for a DJ to play Drake night, salsa night, right? The reason why we aren't is because we don't do it. No, there is no live version of that. There is no live version of that, right? So we're talking about actionable things. What the council is going to be doing is we're going to be taking people who exist and we package. When I go and pitch to SEPTA, when I pitch to the Parkway, I actually take what we exist and I put the graphics with it. I built the entire concept. You got to think as the people who are hiring in business, they don't understand the nuance of the soul, right? They don't say, "Oh, you should just understand why she's amazing." They understand these things, categories. They even if you're getting lumped together, we're talking about building economy. So what I'll be doing is reaching out to everybody. You're already in my network, but we're going to have to start structuring ourselves and packaging ourselves better. We're gonna have calendars too. We're gonna have a lot of stuff. I had a Vegas booker come in, and he was trying to book live casino when they first opened. He didn't know nobody, so he came to me, and he was like, "Oh," and I was just like, "Yeah, I'm gonna call these people, and he was like, "But I need to know what it is, so I can tell them," right? So that's one thing. You got Tony. Tony's gigging over 200 days a year, playing AC gigs, easy, great money, right? So if we're trying to build infrastructure, we have to have some type of citywide marketing that says, Philly is this. Like Philly music is what, right? So one of the actionable things we're going to be doing is developing a marketing campaign that's going to be very easy, cookie cutter, understandable for the politicians, understandable for the tourist companies, right? These tourists who visit Philly, their whole job is to bring tourism into the city. You talk about solutions, we should be partnering with Visit Philly, which is being done, right? How do we say your interest aligns with my interest? You want tourism? Well, I got something that brings tourism. People move to Philly for music. People come to Philly for music. They have funds, right, that help support this. So we go ahead and we take the partners and we align. We say, "Oh, you want to do this, you want to do this." It doesn't matter what the venues pay us. We have outside sponsorship, right? So we're pushing that marketing campaign, third-party sponsorship, because sometimes you can die on the hill and say, "I refuse to play at this venue." It's just not going to change. I tried to sell a $1,500 washing machine at a flea market for like $400, $500, and all day people was like $100. And I was mad, and one of the bulls who was there all week was like, "That's because nobody's here to buy $400. You're just not going to get it." I was completely right and justified in my price. It was a great deal. And this is the point, this is a big point I want to make. Let's not get caught up in what we should be doing, what should be happening for us. It's sometimes just about the result. So if you say, "I want more money," even if the venue doesn't pay, I'm not even getting held up on that. Because guess what? I'll just make the money and still I'm doing what I'm doing. It's not, because guess what? Some hills we can die on, some hills they're just not going to happen, or they have to see it happening elsewhere to get that, right? And I'm sorry to dominate the conversation, but I just, we'll still have follow-ups and more of this so we can talk, because it's a lot. We have valid, real feelings to get out of our chest. So we have mass marketing. If we came together and said we market, not just us, remember we talking about singular voice, right? If we say, we just name it, just give it a name, say the Philly musicians, for lack of better ideas right now. If we said it was the Philly musicians, and we all fall under this umbrella of Philly musicians, and the whole calendar of where everybody's gonna be is there at the same time, what we're doing is promoting us and while promoting ourselves all at the same time. So the city has to buy on that. We can push our buttons there, we can make our calls there. That's not a problem. But we gotta come together, agree on something like that. Next, talking about understanding our worth and value, right? We can't just take every kind of gig, but we gotta realize there's a difference between work and art, right? And so many people want the art to fit in the work and want the work to fit in the art. And if that don't make sense, all I'm trying to say is, it's actually two different industries. And you have to know when to switch it. I'm working, right? So you have to follow the constraints and some of the requirements and restrictions of the gig economy. So you're working in that way, right? And then you got, this is me as an artist. I know some people that only play their original music. I'm sorry. There's no regulation or no calculable or any kind of equation or formula that I can tell you how to scale that. But what I can tell you is how you can make $200 a day, 3 times a week, and I can tell you exactly how much you're gonna make in the gig economy, right? So we have to realize the difference, and some people that just wanna be artists is great. We have to push that. Anytime Philly made a movement, we had our artists. We had artists that was coming out. Anytime, it was artists. So we need to push that. But sometimes you just gotta make money, you gotta understand the industry and understand the business of it. It's not about, and that's again, we don't wanna die on these hills from what our heart feels like. Trust me, I definitely wanna do whatever I wanna do. But when I'm in a constraint of a structure, unless I create something else, this is what I'm talking about. And until you create something else, you gotta go by this, right? So I know gigs, we know gigs, but it's for the people who may have to supplement that. Try being in a cover band for a little bit. There's nothing wrong with that. Try being in a wedding band for a little bit. If you need resources to that, cool. If you want more wedding band gigs, guess what? You can create it. How many people have got called for a gig before? How many people have called for a gig before? Okay, now, this is how we have to think. We have to say, if no one calls me, guess what? That was me. I was a sheltered musician, didn't have no connections, didn't have no friends, and I was just like, dang, nobody's calling me to play the piano. I could have sat there and said, well, that's it. And then I said, yo, let's do this. I'm gonna knock on doors, go to a restaurant. Hey, I can play music. And you make it make sense to them. Because you have customers, they like music, and this shows that you just have to connect the dots. How many times do people call me asking for gigs and I'm like, cool, I'll just literally build a gig for you in front of your face. And then and the next time they say, hey, you got a gig? I'm like, did you not get it? I'm not doing anything different than what we can do. So even outside of this, knock on doors. If you're not exhausting all possibilities, what can we complain about? Like, time is literally not the only option. It's really not. I did a jam session in a warehouse. I did a jam session in my basement. I did a jam session in a dive bar. We went everywhere. Free, paid, whatever. Just to try to be like, yo, the realization of where we go, the people follow. I did a thing with SEPTA. One of the cool things that I noticed about it is we had this terminal where people could say happy or not, the different faces. It said, do you want to see music in the subways? And we collected all the data. When the music was there, we had tons of responses. When the music was there, when the music was not there, the same amount of people were walking by, but nobody was hitting responses. What does this show? Music was actually the thing that drew people. That was an attraction. So I went to SEPTA, I said, yo, we're at the draw. So then they started calling me to say, oh, let's align our interests. So we want to do this and we want to activate it. If music is a draw, you got to leverage that. Okay, we're the draw. When people go to Time, what are they going for? It's a live music venue. They're going for music. And so we have to say, okay, we're the draw, we're the attraction, and we have to sit and we have to kind of like flip that into saying like, if it's not me, what are you going to do then? Right? But again, then we have that whole other thing. If I don't do it and then somebody else does it down the street, all right? So I do want to open the floor back up for a little bit, but I just kind of wanted to start pushing some of that out there let's feed off of this same kind of energy and just say like things we can do. Like tell me, you know, creatively. I don't care if it doesn't make sense, just make it up. Make a scenario and present it and share your thoughts. Every opinion is needed, so I'm gonna open it back up.
Thank you, Dan. For those that don't know me, my name is Roy Turf. I'm a saxophonist born and raised here in Philadelphia. Thank you. I'm gonna get the shameless plug out the way. I have a record coming out this upcoming Friday, and I'm doing an album release show at the Painted Bride on February the 3rd, free and open to the public, so make sure I come through for that. A couple notes that I took on my phone while people were talking. I'm gonna shorten it to 3, just to kind of keep the flow of the night going. I think just to kind of go off of what Dan said, I used to work with the Roots when I was younger, and for some of you guys that don't know, there was actually a big situation between all the late night house bands, so the Roots, John Baptiste at the time, he was doing Colbert, Dancing with the Stars, all those guys, where essentially they weren't making, you know, their portion of the pie from all the ad revenue that was coming from the streaming stuff. So Jimmy Fallon on Peacock or Hulu, Stephen Colbert on all those, like, you know, Apple TV, YouTube, and all that kind of stuff. And one of the things that they did that actually opened up my eyes was just doing a straight up open letter to the networks, so NBC, ABC, CBS, and that open letter with all the musicians that signed off on it, that immediately got the attention of the networks. So if there's a, you know, a similar situation like that, I feel like that's, you know, at least something to get the ball rolling on a local level. Thank you. And also, there was a lot of people talking earlier tonight about the whole thing about busking. I think we have to bring up law enforcement when it comes to that, because I've been seeing so many musicians get shut down in Rittenhouse Square for something that is not against the law. You know what I'm saying? If my memory serves, I can't even talk right now. Please forgive me. If my memory serves me correct, as long as you don't have any type of amplification. So if you're not a guitar player or a piano player, as long as you don't have like a speaker like these on stage, if you don't have that with you, the cops cannot bother you. I've seen the cops bother Snack Time, when Snack Time was just first out and about. I've seen cops bother so many people. So with this new mayor in office, I think that's another issue that we have to bring up to Ms. Cheryl Parker, because that's interrupting the whole flow of just music here in the city. And you know, you go to New York, you see people busking on subways, you see people busking on the platforms of subways and all that kind of stuff. And you come to Philadelphia and it's just, you know, it doesn't even exist. And I feel like law enforcement is another part of the problem, and I feel like we have to address that as well. Last thing I'm gonna bring up, just to kind of, like I said earlier, keep the flow of the night. Jay Rosario kind of already brought this up, but the issues that we're talking about, especially when it comes to the payout of artists and all that kind of stuff, it goes way past the venue. So churches, birthday parties, funerals, family reunions and all that kind of stuff, anything that the musician is even a thought and you know, to add value to the event or whatever, that, you know, the dollars just gotta go for that, you know what I'm saying? Musicians can't be playing at churches and, you know, one week they make $75, next week they pay, you know, they make $50 and all that kind of stuff. I know there's a woman that talked about kind of external funds and all that kind of stuff, but you know, the more kind of those options when it comes to especially just musicians, because essentially we're, you know, without music in the church, you know, we are lifting the worship experience for those that need it, you know what I'm saying? And there's been so much talk in the past about, like, you know, people being brought up to, you know, to worship, but through broken musicians, you know what I'm saying? Some of y'all probably gonna get that on the way home, but that's another situation. Thank you, Jeremy. But that's just another situation to kind of bring up. And yeah, that's all I got to say. Shout out to Dan Rouse. This is absolutely necessary and needed, so thank you.
Sorry, I forgot I was working still. So, Stephen Parker, owner of the E-Wave Productions, or E-Wave Productions. So, I'm gonna actually jump into what Dan actually wanted us to do, which was talk about some solutions, right? Jay brought up churches, somebody else brought up grants, I believe a young lady brought up grants. And so part of one of the things that my company does is we actually find those grants for the churches. And so we'll show up to your church, you'll say, hey, I need an install for AV equipment, for sound, all of this stuff. The grants are out there. Like, they really are already out there. They're actually written right on PA.gov, on Philly.gov. You take it to the church leader, you ask them, hey, how's your 501c3 status? Make sure that they're good on that, because they actually have to have that. and then you present to them what the grants are. The requirements are inside of the grant. It's right there. And so as a musician, myself, drummer, bass player, not like Jay, beast, but as a musician, I know the importance of number one, sound, and I know how important it is for the church to have adequate sound and adequate visuals and things like that. And so to touch on those things as far as for the grant funding, when you can actually come in with a list of the grants that actually are sufficed for the church itself, for the arts, for BIPOC people, we're all Black, Indigenous people, well not all, but we're Black, Indigenous people of color, there are grants just for that. And you can use that same exact funding and add that into the church. So you find the requirements that are for the actual grant that you're looking up, and then you meet the requirements. You may not get that grant right then and there. It may take 6 months for you to actually put your program together to meet those requirements, but that's a way that we can actually get funding for the musicians, for the sound equipment and all those other things. Secondly, grants was the one thing. I should have put this down in my notes, but I was too busy working. What was the other thing? I can't remember. Do you remember? I'm asking my assistant. Do you remember what the other thing was? I said grants and it was another thing. Yeah, if we come back, I'll come back up with, and let you guys know. But it was definitely, it was something else that was like major that y'all were complaining about. Not complaining, but that was like an issue. I don't mean to be so front and just say complaining, but it is what it is. We complain as musicians because things ain't right. We want it right. That's why we're here. But yeah, if I remember it, I'll let y'all know. But the grants was definitely a major thing. Oh, that's what it was. Musicians don't do just Sundays. Like part of that requirement is going to be you may have to come there and teach on like a Tuesday or a Wednesday. Like make sure y'all know that y'all want to get paid, but you got to do a little bit more than just showing up on Sundays. I used to be an every Sunday musician. I just don't do it. But part of those requirements are that you're going to have to do a little bit more, but you'll get paid. So just keep that in mind. I'll think of the other thing and I'll let y'all know.
I'm gonna keep this to a minute. How y'all doing? I'm Jeremy Boyd, also known as, I gave my whole government, we bred in the city. I just want to say one thing that my manager taught me a long time ago, and this is just when I was a drummer in the city. He said, it's the music business, it's not the music friendship. Meaning, if you're gonna participate in the music business, you have to learn the business. So, I did this study. As a drummer, I tried to book a venue, and they were giving me like a price. And then I created like a fake assistant, right? And then I booked the venue, and they gave me like a much higher price. They don't see you the way you see you. This is why when Dan was saying things gotta be packaged, I was over there clapping because I'm like, that's the music business. Therefore, like, you have to understand, they don't see, and I'm saying they, like venues and the business people, if it doesn't make money, they don't see it's necessary. They're in the music business. They're trying to make money, okay? So if we want you to be a part of the music business and make money, you have to package yourself in a way where you're presentable and understandable to people that see that way only. They only see money. You can't come with the art and the, the creative, they don't even, some people don't got a creative bone in their body. All they see is, oh, this made this much this night, this made this much this night, this made, you know what I mean? So network with some people. I was talking to my man over here, I forgot his name, was Mr. Frank? Yeah, like, it was a fact earlier that somebody said, like, the creative marketplace was like behind construction workers. And I was back there losing my mind. I said, some of these venues actually had money. They all have money. It's just how you presented yourself. And if you were, low on cash or whatever like that, you took a position instead of packaging yourself in a certain way where you could demand a price. You see what I'm saying? So that's my minute. See y'all later.
All right, hello everybody, how y'all doing tonight? My name is Natalie Kinney, but I have a hospitality. Oh, thank you. I appreciate the service you go to as a community. I go by the name Miss Suits Hospitality. I've had my own hospitality company. I've actually booked artists for a lot of hospitality groups over the last 10 years. Everyone from the W, the Four Seasons. I started up Spin, which was a ping pong club in Philly. I'm now working with a Black owner of a venue in Philly that wants to switch it over to a live music venue. So one of the sentiments I just wanted to give, I do a lot of customer success, taking customers through journeys of like when they first walk through the door to when they leave out. And when I'm in these meetings, I'm trying to, get a venue to pay for someone like a Carla Gamble or Zeke Burst or Brandon Payne. I know their value, but it's just a huge disconnect from these people don't even listen to your music, the people that are creating the budgets, and oftentimes I'm one of the only Black women or pretty people of color in those meetings, and I'm, pouring my passion all over the table to people that just don't get our culture, but they understand money. Everything is all green. So the one thing that I think that we could do is, and maybe Dan, you could do this through a Facebook group, is that everybody start being transparent about what you're getting paid. Come up with like a Google Doc, just like you got everybody to rival around, and over the next 3 months, every gig that you do, you can go in anonymous, you can go in and show face, and you put down what you're being paid, because artists are being paid different rates. And usually that does happen, back to the sentiment of the gentleman that spoke before, and Dan, is just your package value. So, having a functional website, having a functional social media, really just like displaying your art with photography and things of that nature is really important for someone like me who has to sit down and I've pitched probably every artist in Philly, and I've gotten way more no's than yeses because I couldn't go to a website. I couldn't, there was nothing on Spotify. It's just like, oh my God. So the other thing I do want to say is, we're in a time now, 2024 is the time of reckoning. We see it all throughout the music industry where people are being called on their shit. And we gotta call the venues out. I'm gonna speak particularly about Time, because that was what was in the Facebook group. And I know the gentleman that's booking that thing out night by night, and he's a business guy. Like, him doing what he's doing at Time is going to get him booked throughout the country, because now he has a case study on what he actually can bring to a venue. So I think the actionable item is, one, creating that Google Doc. Every gig that you get, you put down what you're getting paid. You can't, if it's black and white, there ain't much that you can say, oh, this person didn't get paid, that person didn't get paid. And then the second round is we have to create a collective case study. If it seems like everybody's pissed at Time for some reason, I used to go to Time because I don't really like it. I don't like crowded spaces like that. Like, I want to hear good music and I want it to be like, kind of like how World Live Cafe is. If you come here, you're listening to music, you're not hearing a bunch of other shit going on. But we need to create a case study. I can enlist myself for that. I do them all day, every day for customer success. But it's literally a 7-page doc that will show what a venue is making. So if Time is making $20,000 on a Monday and paying the band $600, how much of that money do y'all want? Can anyone just shout out what y'all think that would be worth if a venue's making $20,000 on a Monday? Philly, nobody's making that on a Monday. The larger venues are making upwards of $30,000, and we're talking about nightclubs, Noto, those places like that. They're doing $30,000 on a good night, maybe with a celebrity. So if a small venue like Tom, and I'm not saying that's the official number, that's just what a little bird told me, what would y'all want to get paid for that for a 5-person band? A percent of the bar and a percent of the door. It is everybody in a... So 200 man, so 5, 4, 6, 8, 10. So there should be $1,000 budget at minimum. So this conversation is all happening because of the gig's 4 hours, right. Yeah, that's minimum. And I'm just getting feedback from y'all. We're saying at minimum, and I think that's the issue. What makes an artist an at minimum artist, and what makes an artist someone that can come through and charge $3,600 on the night, because there are artists that are doing it, I'm cutting the checks. You know, what, right. Okay. Now, some of these events that I'm seeing that a lot of artists are throwing, there aren't even RSVP links where you could actually say, I brought in 200 people. It's people are just, it's just like put up a flyer and people are just coming. So again, I'm not gonna take up much more time. I think I'll talk to Dan, but I think there needs to be an official case study with at least 20 to 30 artists who are willing to be very transparent about what they're being paid. We also don't need to put everything out on Front Street. So everybody doesn't even need to know when this is happening or when we're doing it. We don't need to make a Facebook post. We don't need to do any of that. We need to silently organize, get these numbers together, build the case study out, and then as we start to approach the venues, hold them accountable and say, we know what you're making. Look, guys, there's black servers in all these venues. We all close out the tabs at the end of the night. We all know what the venues are making. They're making money. They're not making money. Don't believe, oh, the COVID and the pandemic and we're struggling. That ain't the case. So that's my piece. If I was able to see a case study in the next 3 months with real data, real facts from artists, I think that would help us moving forward, especially with the new leadership with Mayor Sherelle Parker and some other new leadership we have. So that's just my insight from the other side.
Hello everybody, I am Sean Brown, also known as Smiling Eagle. I'm a bassist here in Philly. I moved here, I've been here about 2 years now, so it's still fairly new. I think there is an importance in moving in silence, but in doing so we have to do it as a collective. And I like the idea of building the Philly Music Council. That's a cool idea. And I think with that, we can make a website, it can be a Google Doc, with all of the musicians here and all the musicians in Philly, where every event that anybody has is posted there so that everybody knows what's going on. Saves the hassle of promoting it yourself as well. But just there's a whole network of all the musicians who know what's going on and when. I also have the idea of going for grants to fund all of the musicians' ideas as far as sorry. But yeah, going for grants to fund the money, basically for musicians who are doing their shows at the venues, so that we don't have to rely on the venue to give us the money or ticket sales or anything like that. Sorry.
We interrupt these messages.
Oh! I'm going to be quick. My name is Andre Adams. They call me Bam Bam. Very important that us old heads support young musicians. I have a podcast out under A-Bank Music. Ray Moose is on it. My daughter's been on the Radiance. Austin Marlowe from Snack Time and Marlowe's has been on it. And you guys are geniuses. Your musicianship is incredible. Carla Gamble, you're a genius. You're funky. I love you. I just want to be able to support you guys. We also have a TV network under A-Bank Music LLC. We're going to keep doing podcasts. I have a song out under Mazani Banks called This Gift from God. Matter of fact, Ray Bruce sang background on that song. He did it up. Did it up. That boy's the singer behind. So, and Darren Rouse came to the studio, third story studio, with this big Kool-Aid smile, and just kicked it just like nothing. I think we did 2 songs, 3 songs that night. This boy's a genius. So I thank God for you guys. I'm almost 60 years old now, so I've been in Black Rock Coalition, I've been in CBGBs, I've been all over Philly, I've played all over the place. So I just thank God that I have the opportunity. Thank God for my daughter Radiance, because he introduced me to everybody in here. So thank God for you guys. I'm done. And I'll keep supporting you guys. Come on my podcast, all the young musicians and everybody.
How y'all doing this morning again? Just something I forgot to say before when I was up here. 2 points. One, A colleague of mine, a good buddy of mine, has a platform for any of you who have music. If you are an artist, you have recorded music that you want to know, please go to my homie's spot. It's called Mags FM, or Mags' Rooftop Aerial. He is a local DJ who has a platform where every Monday he puts out a playlist about an hour or so long where he just plays independent music. He's always looking for local artists. We talk about it all the time, how he can't find them. Please look him up. If you can't get a hold of him, reach out to me. It's called Mags FM. If you go to Instagram, it's Mags FM, or Maggie's Rooftop Aerial is the name of the website. He wants to play your music, you know, and I really wish y'all would take advantage of that as a resource. The next thing, the talking about the money's being made, or you know how the gig economy works here in Philadelphia. As a fan of the live music scene, I try to go to as much live music as I can. One of the big problems I have is I can never find live music online. If I said, hey, where would you go to find out where you all are playing? And that goes into what is the value. Everybody says they're not getting paid enough. How do you determine how much is your craft worth to you? How much is it worth? If it's not worth $100, if it's not, how do you quantify what the value of your playing is? Y'all live in Philadelphia. I can walk down the street and trip over one of the baddest drummers in the world. There's a lot of y'all, that's the problem. There's a lot of y'all out here who are crazy good, incredible. So how do you set yourself apart? How do you decide what the value per hour is you're playing for? How do you know how much you're supposed to get? You know you're not getting enough, but how do you know? I make it simple. And I really would like someone who owns a venue to come up and break down how it works like someone else is doing. How many people are you bringing to the venue to buy a drink or to buy a meal? Or where are they getting the money to pay you? If you don't actually promote, because I love to go to live music. I'm always looking like, where are people playing that? If you're not out here telling people, I'm out here playing at this venue, I'm out here playing at that venue, what does the venue owe you other than, hey, you know, I'm promoting. People talk about time. Let me tell you something about time. Just be honest. Time don't need y'all to promote them. People know 7 days a week you can go to time and hear music. They just need somebody to fill it up. That's the reality. Should they pay you more? Absolutely, they should pay you more, but they don't have to pay you more because time is built on years of reputation. I don't care what day of the week. I can go there and hear those live music because they've had what I used to. I can't say that. But the point of the matter is, know your worth. I hope at the next panel we have attorneys here. Know the business. I want to see music attorneys here. I want to see, you know, CPAs here who help tell you how to break down, make money. One hack I heard from the CPA about some of the people who play at church, right? You might not get paid at church, right? Let's say they want you to come and play and you don't get paid. You can demand from them a receipt. Say, hey, look, give me a $400 receipt because I'm gifting my service to you. If you don't want to pay me, if you're only going to give me $100, I need a receipt for the other $300. Say, I'm gifting you my sound, so you can at least write it off. Yeah, right. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. I love each and every one of you. Music is medicine, and keep playing, y'all. Just keep playing. This is the fan perspective.
All right, man, I feel like a jerk because I do gotta shut it down because we gotta leave at some point. But let's just. For the recording and for the people that are still here, I'm just going to say, okay, I'm going to say 3 things that we can do. You know, everything that people can talk about, you know, are really things that we can offer in workshops and different camps and instructionals, videos and different things like that. But we still have to be able to say actionable things. When you were talking about the study, that's an actionable thing, right? I'm signing up for that study, right? I'll be transparent with my gigs, even if it's anonymous. we need to figure out some type of numbers. People see those numbers. So I'm just going to present 3 ideas, and you can choose to be a part of it, ask me more about it, or not be a part of it. I'm hoping that we can, but we just got to actually be able to say, like, and I apologize because I don't want to be insensitive to anybody and anybody's thoughts or anything, but when I hear complaining for too long, I get like, okay, what are we doing, right? That's just me.
That's right.
That's me.
That's me too.
All right, we can have the AA meetings and all the just vent your heart out. I want to listen to that. But today, the goal is we have to have some real things. So, one, this mass music marketing, right? I want to create a singular structure that all music filters through. The call to action is, if you are down, I want you, once we establish this, whether it's a site, whether it's a landing page, that you can submit all of your gigs. All you gotta do is tell us, I have a gig here. We're doing the hard work of saying we have something to present. That way, when the city's going, stick with it. When the city is going and looking for musicians, if everybody is bought in, right, and they just ask you, and you say, hey, and you send them back to this entity, right, then we can control, right, exactly how we're pushing that, right? We're pushing the envelope. When these tourist groups come by, when people come in time, when Time Magazine comes in town, when National Geographic, NPR comes in town, does all these studies, right? They're missing us because they're not seeing us in the individuals. I'm just saying, it's not diminishing us individually because we're all great. So one, it's going to be a marketing program. Two, I think that if we can, okay, for example, I'll say this. This is where I will lose a lot of people, right? And it's fine because I'm going to move forward and I'm going to keep pushing for it, right? We can literally own our own venue within a year.
Still here, buddy.
Let me just show you the math, right? We have over 200 people here. We have over 80 people in Zoom. Every week, I'm pledging $10 to the Philly music scene. Every week, I will either I will say, this $10 is going to go towards the music scene. If everybody in the room just said that, that's $500 a year, $520 a year, right? Just think about 1 gig a week, you give $10 towards the Philly music scene. And now I'm talking about the collective. This is not anyone's personal money. This is not anyone's, money for any incentive other than pushing the collective, right? So now we say, if everybody in the room did that, 200 people in the room did that, that would be $100,000 of money that belongs to us. $100,000, right? We could have billboards, talk about the campaign, we could have billboards all across the city saying, music is in Philly, or whatever slogan, create an actual marketing, I'm telling you, the buzz, the PR, the media, that's how you get it. We don't need convincing. We need to convince the 1.5 million people outside of these doors, right? When we talked about Shadia, she was like, I would love this. We got so many people that's hitting up their friends and other musicians to come support our stuff. And there's people like Shadia that said, yo, I would pay hundreds for this. Right? Most venues got 1.5 million people. This venue can't even hold 1% of the city. This venue can't even hold 0.1% of the city. Just think about it that way. I just need to get 0.001% of the city to know about us. Right? It's actually not that far, right? If that was something that people say yes to today, and then guess what? We will wake up tomorrow with $100,000 in marketing, venue expenses. If we wanted to say we wanted a venue, that's just $100,000 off rip. Not money that we make from tickets, not money that we make for beer and alcohol sales, right? So that's two. I'll make sure I recap all this and I'll make an email and post all these things. And then three, right? Let's just come to an agreement, right? That we're just gonna not take a certain price. Like $100 ain't gonna work for me. And I'm telling you, like, you can mark my words, I won't take it anymore. I don't remember the last time I have. So if we want calls to action, things that we can do, if we're on the same page, if we're pushing each other in tandem, in solidarity, right? And then we're gonna be working, the council is gonna be working to connect the dots from all these. There's so many other conversations that happen and that will happen in between these big meets. That's just connecting the dots. That's literally all it was. I was in Budapest. Made in America got canceled. And I was like, yo, I called Makos, I called Curry, I called people, like boom, 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 boom. And we just connected dots. Offices that have existed in city government, people, organizations that have existed for years, that had never been in the same room. In less than 2 weeks, we got $150,000. And we put a festival on featuring all Philly artists right on the Parkway. And Made in America, they got a festival. I'm not saying we was the best festival, sure, but it was amazing. I'm telling you, if you was there, it was absolutely amazing. To get $150,000, and that was actually secured within a week. And it was just from connecting the dots. We didn't beg nobody because they was like, oh, we was looking to get this money. And you know the person who knows, so that's what we're gonna be doing as this, representation for a whole. If you decide to be a part of it, it's not even like something you sign up for. Like, it's not like I'm asking you to join something. Like, we're gonna do the work no matter what. So you'll see it, or I'm asking if you want to, we can be a part of that work, but we wanna do it. And it's just so many connecting of dots. I want to be able to create a page where we have all the research that people were talking about. And we say, this is the thing. So if you're a musician, you just know, go to that. So when we see the Women's Coalition, when we see the grants for churches, when we see all of the things that people said are very, very important. But remember, if we just do it and funnel it kind of through one thing, and everybody just knows this is how we look through it, everything you said, everything we said, everything Jay said, everything everybody said will just be very much more compartmentalized, but easy to access, easy to flow. We'll continue these conversations for more general, thought and conversation, accountability, but we'll be doing these little micro things within that construct. So, if anybody has any last comments or final thoughts? Oh, okay. Oh, I forgot we had Zoom. Zorn. What in the world is Zorn? Hey, Laura. Yeah, you can unmute.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much. I'll be brief. I just want to say I am so excited by the enthusiasm, the forward thinking, and the collectivism. And I want to stress that a lot of the infrastructure that you're talking about that would be useful, which is so important because you can't manage what you don't measure, whether it be budgets, whether it be payroll, any of that. A lot of that exists already within the structure of Local 77 and is available to any member, and membership is available just on a quarter-to-quarter basis. And we want to, I want to stress that, the union is the members. The members are the union. So we have these tools that can not only you can avail yourselves of them right away, but then they can also be adapted to whatever the appropriate situation is. So I hope that, I want to invite anyone who's curious to reach out to look at the website. I put my email in the chat. I'll do it again. Marjorie Goldberg, our vice president, is now on the call. I know she will do that. Our president, Ellen Trainer, dropped it in the chat. And we're here for you. And I also want to caution you that when you're thinking about what you're getting on the gig that night, I also want to encourage everyone, no matter how young or how old, to also be thinking about how are you going to provide for a dignified retirement for yourself. And when you are availing yourselves of the structures that include contracts and the payroll service of Local 77, you have a vehicle through which you can run your gig, send out payroll, direct deposits, and get a pension contribution that will be very, very useful to you. And it's hard to remember that. It's hard to think about that. You want that cash when you leave the gig when you're 20, when you're 30. But when you're getting to be my age or when you're in your 60s, you're going to be thankful that you're going to have a pension that could come to you. So please visit our website. It's in the chat. It's local77afm.org. ask our questions, send us emails, hit us up on Instagram, on Facebook, and you know, if you don't see yourself in the union, be the union. Help us be everything that we all need so we can all be better, do better, and have better together. We have the tools. We just need to unite as our voices, and we can do that all through solidarity. Thanks again, Dan, and thanks for everybody for listening.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, Laura. Oh, hey, Pastor Buster, do you have something to say real quick? Yeah, you're gonna unmute real quick. Go right ahead.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Pastor Buster Fields here. And I had to get on because when I saw the opportunity to discuss the dire needs and the things that musicians deserve, I had to come on because at one point in time I was a musician, but did trends, kind of came into the ministry. And so my reason for getting on is I want to say this, y'all. On behalf of all of the pastors in the city, we honestly owe it to the musician community to do you guys better. The truth of the matter is, you guys put in countless hours making our worship service what it is. And you guys deserve a lot more and better. The 100-hour services, those days are over. And I'm glad that you all are creating this opportunity and space. And I commend you there for doing this because we have to get to the place where we confront truth with to the power, to those that are in position. And honestly, if y'all don't challenge us, we will continue to pay y'all the $100 or $150. Yep. And y'all don't deserve that. Y'all put in countless hours, choir rehearsals, Bible studies, depending on your lane of worship, you put in a lot of hours to make our service what it is. And we really owe it to you all. So I'm coming on. I know I don't have that type of weight to speak for all of the pastors, but right is right and wrong is wrong. And you guys deserve better. So on behalf of all the pastors, I'm going to make it my duty to take care of the musicians that even play at my church because they deserve a lot. They put up with a lot. They put in a lot of work. They play 5-hour praise breaks. Y'all guys deserve it. And so I commend you all for putting in the work. And y'all stay united. Y'all, it's not about just saying we're going to do something, but get off the Zoom and just don't do it. Let them really commit to our confession today. And I promise I, as a pastor, will stand behind you all and do my best to serve the musician community. Because I'm still a musician at heart. I love y'all, Pastor Buster. God bless you, man.
Thank you, Pastor. All right, so I know you guys are packing and already congregating, but we're wrapping up. Or it's just, sometimes you gotta go with the flow. And I think everybody's calling it quits, right? So let's save it, because I don't want to drain all the energy to where like next time you're like, I ain't going to that. But I definitely just want to get, she's been standing here, so I just want to get her to say something, just quick 30 seconds, and then we're done. Thanks for everybody who spoke, and I know a lot of people have more to say. We'll keep following up and do more of this.
Hi everyone. I know it's been kind of a long meeting. My name is Melody Rose. I'm a singer, I'm a songwriter, I'm a recording artist. I do a lot of weddings, I'm an event planner, I'm a DJ. So I've been doing this for a long time, but I'm new to Philly. I've lived everywhere, and this is a problem in every city I've ever lived in. But the cool thing about Philly, the solution is that we're all here. And I've never seen that in another city that I've lived in, so I think that's really cool. And I'm excited to be part of this community, and I think it's going to be really great. And I know there's going to be a lot of solutions, so thanks, Dan, for doing this.
Thank you. Hey, let's welcome Melody to our scene as our family. We look forward to hanging and playing and making great music. So, yeah, thank you, everybody. Give me some time to gather all the notes and all the minutes and everything we talked about today. I want to create a forum that you can, if anybody has more feedback, you can just still say, there's a lot to be said. There's a lot more to be said. So we'll continue this, and if you're down, we can continue doing this. It doesn't have to be like super frequent, but we'll do this again and just kind of have checkpoints throughout the year. Because I actually mean it, like we're going to change the city, and if we don't have bullet points and checkpoints and deliverables to say how are we actually performing on those things, then all we're going to do is wish, and it's not going to happen. So you guys come into this, you guys being on the Zoom helps keep us accountable. We'll give you progress updates, and then we'll have you some call to action. So thank you everybody on Zoom. Oh yeah, and then if anybody wants to talk to Curry, the general manager of this venue, any questions, her cards are over there. Connect, talk to people that you don't know, get some numbers, and thank you.